especially when you've got two kind of flat out right backs on the bench. It's a strange one, but we'll see how it pans out. Sam, let's go to Atleti, and look, some big names here, but there's also some big names not here.
All the players I want to watch are on the bench. I'm glad I've got the other one. We're not quite sure exactly how Atletico Madrid are going to line up. The club's official Twitter account have put them in this formation, so we'll go with that. But you know what, this could be a 4-4-2 with two left backs, one at left back and one at left mid, and then you've got your right side as well, and that would be Marcos Llorente playing at right mid ahead of 𝗟𝗏. Llorente, of course, has spent time at right back, so you are literally playing, in this instance, 4 full-backs. Bit negative? Fine, but it's Atletico Madrid, isn't it? It's Diego Simeone, it's knockout football. He reverts to type, so we don't know exactly how that's going to line up, but Atletico at least have got serious firepower and game-changing ability off the bench. If they need to turn to someone, they've got 4 great players to choose from, so maybe that's the game plan.
Well, that was what I was going to ask, Sophie. You know, there are, obviously, when you come up against these teams, you go, okay, who are they going to hurt us with? And you see Griezmann and Suarez on the bench. There's a part of you, I imagine, that goes sigh of relief. And then there's a part of you goes, oh, God, they could bring them on in 70 minutes.
You know what? We've got Elanga to bring on, who I think has been on fire. Rashford obviously gets the nod tonight, which is an interesting one as well in itself, because he hasn't been in great form. This is a big night for us tonight, a really big night. Obviously, beating Leeds at the weekend, we should be going into this with a bit of confidence. You've already mentioned the form going into it. Both teams are really inconsistent, so I think kind of form goes out the window. I know it's cliche, but this is a massive test for both teams, and Simeone's never going to be a pushover. He gets those players working regardless of what names are on the pitch, so I never expected an easy test, but relieved to see certain names on the bench for sure, definitely.
Okay, well, we've said something about Atleti there, but earlier on, our man James Lorenzo spoke to Spanish football expert Graham Hunter about what's got wrong for Atleti this season.
They're confused and befuddled. James, look, it's rare that you see a champion defend a domestic title as if they just don't care. But if we're really baseline clear about it, it's because they've completely forgotten how to defend. There have been moments when Atleti's mood has been good because they're stock full of good footballers. And if I'm completely honest, my view is that the best Atleti 11, when will that ever happen, on its best form, knocks out the current best United 11 on its best form. And there are reasons for that argument. But your question was, what sort of nick are they in? What's the mood? And it obviously isn't good. I mean, just as a throwback, James, because I know that your viewers will have been watching Atleti with an eye to this United's big chance to smash somebody. They couldn't handle Championship Middlesbrough, but yeah, it's Atleti now, easy peasy. If you look at when Simeone took over, Atleti were mid-table, and he immediately turned a side that didn't concede for 6 matches. Well, this season they've been sort of saying to sides, go and score 1 or 2, and then we'll wake up. Then we'll fight back. That's pathetic at any level, but at the Champions League level, even with an idiosyncratic, unpredictable opponent like United, it's like beckoning to be knocked out.
Okay, well, let's get some predictions for this game. Sophie, you're the United fan. We're going to start with you here. Do you reckon you get this done in Madrid?
I don't think it'd be done, as in tie over. It would be nice if that is the case. I think it'd be a tight affair between these two, like I say, inconsistent teams. Both teams likely to concede goals. I think there might be 1 goal in it. So my prediction, I'm going to say a 2-1 United win. I'll never bet against us. However, I'm not entirely confident that, like I said, the tie will be done. I'm just hoping that we just scrape through. We scrape through and give us a bit of confidence going into that home tie. Okay. So yeah, 2-1 to United. All
right, Sam?
Yeah, 2-2. Can't trust any of them. So just go straight down the middle and go for 2-2. Both teams to me feel like they can concede a couple. Atletico have been really quite poor defensively recently, and I feel like Man United can hurt them. But then I'm aware that Man United only tend to play well for about 45 minutes. So unless they shake off that recent tag, they'll allow Atletico to come back into that game, maybe via a few subs off the bench, and maybe that's the case. So I'll go 2-2.
Okay, I'm going to go 2-1 the other way. I actually think United probably get this tie as a whole done, but I think they'll lose tonight. So I'm going to go 2-1 Atleti, which means we're all kind of roughly in the same ballpark. Okay, right, there's obviously 2 games on tonight, one at Atleti at the Wanda and 1 in Lisbon. Our man James Lorenzo is here to talk to you about why you should keep an eye on the other one.
Now, I know most neutrals will be drawn to Manchester United and Atletico tonight, and that's fair enough. It's Cristiano Ronaldo, it's Diego Simeone, it's two of the biggest clubs in European competition. But let me tell you why Benfica and Ajax also deserve some of your time. For a start, you've got two of the most informed strikers in Europe right now in 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲 and Darwin Núñez. Halé's renaissance since leaving the Premier League has been nothing short of outstanding. No one can match his 9 goals in their first 5 Champions League games. Núñez, meanwhile, is simply destined for the top. He's got 23 and 27 this season, including 5 in his last 5. But where Haller is the focal point of an Ajax machine in full flow, Núñez is carrying a more dysfunctional Benfica side on his back. They are all but out of the Portuguese title race. They sacked manager Jorge Jesus at the end of December, and Darwin's goal record is one of few things to shout about. Contrast that with all too familiar sounds coming from Amsterdam. Ajax are 5 points clear at the Eredivisie summit. They've only conceded 5 league goals all season. So while there's a lot of noise around Haller and his goal-scoring exploits, the defence have quietly been getting the job done. So while European competition gives Benfica a chance to bring some light back to the Estadio da Luz, make no mistake, Ajax rock up as favourites. A perfect group stage record, arguably the most informed striker in Europe right now, and the luxury of a table-topping cushion at home. All the signs point towards another fairy tale European run for Erik ten Hag's men.
Sam, we're going to take a look here at the team news. What are the big headlines that have, taken your eye at the Estadio da Luz tonight?
Well, there's a lot of consistency in that Ajax team. 4 of these players played all 6 group games and 5 of them played 5 out of 6. Now bear in mind they won all 6 of those group games, so they were in a very luxurious position by game at match day 6. They were able to rotate, but they've been pretty consistent on what they fielded in the Champions League. It's a really nice consistent groove to what they've done. Benfica have been in all sorts of turmoil over the last 2 months or so. They've changed almost everything. They've changed the manager, they've changed the centre-backs, they've changed the front 2. They've changed the midfield. Yeah, they've changed everything. So there's all sorts of different changes there. Everton and Rafa Silva on the wings are very exciting. Not convinced I'm going to be enjoying the midfield 2 of Weigl and Thuram very much, but we do love Darwin Núñez. He is a fantastic footballer, a real physical force, someone that can ruffle defenders' feathers, and watching him going behind should be quite fun. And the tussle he has with Yuri and Timber will be very good.
Yeah, I mean, Sophie, Darwin Núñez is the kind of name here, I suppose, that neutrals might not have heard of, but linked with all sorts of Premier League clubs in January, and I imagine that's going to keep going. So for a neutral, just keeping an eye on, one to look at.
Definitely. You've already mentioned the Ajax team as well, the promising young stars. They've got Anthony, I've seen, has been linked with United just today.
Yep.
Very excited at the prospect of that deal, can I just say, even though I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot of talent on show for sure in both games, so it's going to be a really entertaining night, I feel.
Absolutely. Right, let's get some predictions for this one. Sam?
I've got a lot of faith in Ajax. I've got very little in Benfica. So as much as I'm enjoying this one, I'm looking forward to it, I'm still thinking that Ajax come out of this comfortably. I'm going to go 2-0 to Ajax. They get the clean sheet away from home.
Okay. Sophie?
I think Ajax will win. I haven't gone quite as confident as you. I've said 2-1, playing it safe yet again, you'd probably say. But yeah, 2-1. I think they might concede, but I think Ajax going forward are very exciting, and I expect them to put them to bed really today.
2 away goals. Two away wins you've gone for. That's a big call. I'm going 3-1 to Ajax. I think this is one of those teams that has it all, at their fingertips, and I'm excited about this Ajax team. I think the more they prove and the more they go, it starts to feel like that kind of momentum gets behind them, and there is that, I think that outside chance of them going all the way.
There's something really special, isn't there?
It does feel like that way. It feels like we're getting back out of it, and we're starting to see these teams coming out now and starting to see what's going on. But this Ajax kit, for me, I've just got to put it out there. Ajax are wearing their all-black strip with the green, yellow and red touches, the Bob Marley influence kit. At first it said that it wasn't going to be able to use this kit because it had political connotations. They've had to take off a couple of the emblems and the motifs of it, but it's good to see them in this competition wearing that kit. It's so
beauty, isn't it? Absolute beauty.
It's better than Atletico's warm-up shirt, by the way, which is like Crystal Palace's.
Yeah, we were discussing this, right? So it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? You said Crystal Palace, Sam said Levante. It looked a bit, to me, like...
It was a bit Barca as well.
It did look a bit like they were dressed as Barcelona, and I was wondering if they'd come to try and scare United by pretending they were Barcelona in the warm-up. Maybe they're just trying to make like Griezmann and Suarez feel more comfortable. I'm not quite sure what Atletico you were playing at, but it did feel like they were wearing it. Oh, it's a just keeping an eye on what's going on, there is an incredible motif around Atleti's ground, around the Wanda. That's beautiful. That's big as well. Normally you get one behind the goal.
Huge.
This is the full side of the pitch.
That is amazing.
It's cool.
That's incredible. Really cool. Really cool.
None of that in my game.
No.
It's almost like FIFA now, isn't it, when you're seeing stuff like this in real life?
Yeah.
Literally, it's like a game.
Yeah. I mean, Sophie, kind of one of the big stories of late has been Paul Pogba coming back into this lineup, and starting to kind of show again why so many people love him.
Yeah.
That inconsistency. I mean, look, we talked about inconsistency so much, and I imagine it's going to be a theme of the evening when we talk about these. But where's the level for you? What do we see? Is Paul Pogba going to come out here and shine? And if he does that change anything in regard to his kind of long-term future?
It just makes me even sadder at the fact that he's leaving, I think. Look, Paul Pogba is, on his day, outstanding football player. There's no player like him, I don't think, in the world on his day. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, we haven't seen that consistently enough in a United shirt. And I just know that, and I say when he leaves, because for me, he would have signed that contract by now if he was staying. And unfortunately, it seems he's going. But for his career, I just feel like it's the right thing for him to do. He hasn't been treated very well at United, to be fair to him. And I think it's just going to make me sad, because I know for a fact he's going to kill it playing elsewhere. He's just that kind of player, isn't he? But he's an outstanding player on his day. And like I say, just unfortunate we haven't seen that enough really at United. But yeah, I think tonight he'll relish nights like this. He really will.
He likes the big stage.
He does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sam, someone who isn't going to be going anywhere is Jadon Sancho, who is very much signed last summer and now looks like he's starting to finally kick on. Look at his goal involvements. In the last 5 games, he's doubled what it was on the previous 23. We're seeing a player here who is starting to find that Bundesliga form, which is why United splashed so much money on him.
Very exciting now, isn't he? It's one of the main reasons you tune in to watch United. Actually, there's a couple of reasons now, because Pogba's back in the team too. All of a sudden, there's a lot of fun on the Man United pitch, and Sancho is a phenomenal talent. I think we all knew that. Bit of patience needed. Manchester United, not the easiest situation to step into, particularly in a season where they put together actually some of the worst performances I've ever seen in the Premier League. You know, that game particularly against Liverpool. Sorry.
I was there.
Oh goodness me, it was so poor, and of course it leads to a change in manager. If that's the stuff we're talking about, it's obviously not a stable scenario for Jadon Sancho to step into. He struggled last year because he was supposed to move to United and it kind of fell through. It took him 3-4 months to get his head back in the game at Dortmund, I'd say. Then he finally found his feet and he exploded into the second half of the season. It's kind of been the same. Not all his fault, but that's what it is. But we're now starting to see the very best of him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sophie, you said it earlier before we came on set, in that you expected him to start on that right-hand side and be that kind of final missing piece of the puzzle. But actually, it's been on the left, and just as we say so, Benfica and Ajax are underway. But it's on the left where he's started to really shine. Yeah,
it surprised me really, but I do think it comes down to, I mean, I know we mentioned it earlier off camera, but the link-ups with the full-backs, and I think Wan-Bissaka naturally going forward, he just hasn't got in his game, sadly. He just struggles going forwards, whereas Luke Shaw on the left, I think he's got a much better relationship with Sancho now. And I think he's starting to flourish because of that. Whereas on the right-hand side, it just seems far too imbalanced. And I think you've seen tonight with Lindelof, it looks like he is going to be starting on at the right back. I think that just shows that that's an area where we need to invest. I know we spent on Wan-Bissaka, but to be a full-back at Manchester United, you need to be able to attack as well as defend. And he can't do that.
Well,
even more important to attack, I'd argue, in a top team like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Honestly.
Look at all the top teams and they've got attacking fullbacks.
Marcelo made a living as one of the best left-backs in world football, and he doesn't want to defend, let alone whether he's capable or not.
Well, that's perhaps why it was a bit weird to not see Diogo Dalot there, right? Because he has got those attacking capabilities. We saw that for Milan, we saw that for Portugal. We're underway in Madrid, and it is Sancho on that left-hand side. Interesting, though, how that pans out, because if that does mean Marcus Rashford is playing on the right, you'd imagine that does sort of take away from one of his main kind of threats, in that getting in behind and kind of curling them into that far corner has become somewhat of his kind of trademark move. Now, I know it's not unique to him, but it has become, part of his arsenal very much so. And we're going to see this inverted now, which makes things interesting for United, and at least mixes things up in terms of attack. Yeah,
I hope it encourages Rashford to get around the outside a bit more, though. He's been playing on that right-hand side. I think we've lacked that. When Rashford's at his best is when he's being direct and running at defenders, and I think far too often it's been a case where he's been cutting inside and he's been trying to play that wonder ball or whatever. He's trying to switch play. I want to see him running at players, because that's the best part of his game, and I think whether it's the injury, the lack of confidence, it just hasn't been doing that. So I'm hoping that we see that side of Rashford, if he is playing more on that right hand side with Sancho on the left, Ronaldo centrally, or Cavani, whoever it may be centrally. hopefully we can get the best out of Rashford that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's Cristiano Ronaldo tonight through there, playing against his favourite opponent in world football. That's something that's just a little bit ridiculous. 25 goals in 35 games, 9 assists. It's pretty much a goal involvement every single time he's played against Atletico. He scored 4 hat-tricks against them. I think they're the only 4 hat-tricks that he scored that have been conceded by Diego Simeone's Atleti, all to Cristiano Ronaldo. He's just a bit of a madman when he sees that red and white shirt.
Ooh, we've had a shot on goal.
We've
shot on
conceded a
target,
corner
and it's
early.
actually from Benfica.
Wow.
Benfica have tried to draw first blood. I mean, it's all been down this one flank to start with. Antony just escaped into the box but was ruled offside, and then Benfica chased back down the other side, and Edson Alvarez basically chops a man in half, attempting to stop Gonzalo Ramos cutting inside.
Early booking or no early booking?
No. It was one of those things where it's just a bit early, we'll just leave it. But it wasn't great, to be honest with you. But Grimaldo's just swung the set piece in and the header on target. But Pasveer, the Ajax goalkeeper, who very rarely has to do anything.
What a block by Lindelof.
Well, early drama in
Frantic
Madrid
start,
as well.
yeah.
Really frantic. It was a corner not dealt with whatsoever.
It was Bruno, wasn't it? I don't know what he tried to do, but
Ball comes back in and it falls to 𝗟𝗏, it felt like, which is really, you don't want it falling to in the box. But really good from Lindelof.
Great block.
That's why he's there.
Yeah.
That's why he's there.
1-0 to Ralph on that corner.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Gonzalo Ramos has just been fouled again.
I was going to say, any signs of settling from Ajax, Sam?
Twice in 4 minutes he's been fouled. He's really been in the wars. That's Benfica's sort of right-hand striker there, or left-hand striker as we speak. So no signs of settling from Ajax so far. They've just committed 2 fouls and been caught offside once. Bit slower than usual. But good for the Ajax keeper to have to do something. He never has to do anything. He must get so bored.
Well, this is your line, isn't it? The hill you're dying on is that you think that this is the easiest job in football. There was an old advert, wasn't there? It was like Italy's goalkeeper, and it was just a picture of Maldini saying easiest job in football. This is now what you believe, Remco Pasveer's life to be.
Maybe not on the floodlit Champions League nights, but certainly in the Eredivisie when they win in 9-0 and stuff. They've won 17 games this season by 3 or more goals. Large portion of those are to 0. He does nothing. He literally just stands there and watches his team score goals. So I'm really pleased for him. He's managed to make a catch.
Okay,
Bruno's lost the ball a few times in this game so far.
Early start.
Yeah.
A little bit nerves, is it?
Maybe.
Right.
I think he's got more time than he's actually got, 3 times.
Okay. Well, if you want to get involved tonight, if you've got a question for any of us, we'd love to hear them. Get involved using the hashtag LiveScore Watchalong on Twitter, and we will bring the best ones up and have a little discussion about them. So make sure you chuck us some questions, chuck us some things to discuss. Let's go back to Madrid. Again, Atleti right at this.
Felix
is on the charge and then
tried to whip it
to
into that far corner, didn't he?
ping one over the bar.
Yeah.
Well, this is as bright a start as we've seen from Atleti in ages, because they don't start games very well.
You knew it would happen against us.
But it does feel like they did. Well, the atmosphere, we saw that tifo, obviously. The atmosphere must be absolutely incredible in the West. Right? These are the nights it was built for, right? Because it's up to this point they were playing it in the Calderon, which was small and had a wonderful atmosphere, but they built this so that they can kick onwards.
Yeah.
And then you get to a night like this, you're like, right, this is what it's all for. This is why we've developed it. This is why we've got there.
We haven't really settled yet. It's the first time we really put 3 or 4 passes together.
Yeah.
Every time I look over from my game, Atletico are in United's box.
Well, I would look up at your game. Seb Allaire doing unselfish things. Don't do that, Seb. Just hit it.
Just hit it,
Yeah.
I read a nice interview with him today, actually, where he said he admitted he wasn't much of a dribbler. Fair enough, Seb. Bit of self-awareness. He's a 6'4" target man. I think we know he's not much of a dribbler.
Ooh, Benfica have started well.
Benfica have got a little corner here. I mean, look, it's been the first 2 minutes was basically just Ajax players fouling Benfica players. Then it was 4 minutes of Ajax passing it along the back line, thrilling stuff. Then the last 30 seconds, they've driven forward and they've managed to bag a corner.
Well, we just keep conceding corners, so.
Well, I mean, we've had the home sides on top so far.
Yeah.
A red start, you'd imagine, is how you'd nail this from the 2 games. But yeah, see how Atleti deal with this.
Lindelof again.
There is gaps out wide here, though.
It's a great cross. What a goal.
1-0 Atleti. João Felix.
What a goal that is as well.
What a header.
The cross as
He
well.
scored a header.
It's a diving header as well.
Posting in.
Oh.
Not a good start from us at all. That's the last thing we wanted to do, conceding on the goal.
This is brilliant.
It's a good goal. I have to give credit. It's a good goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
De Gea just stood and watched it.
And it's real hard to do that as well. When you're like, when you're well within it, when you're well in the mix. You're
Yeah.
like, the last thing in the world I want is to give them any credit for the goal.
No,
yeah.
you
Very
have to.
gracious.
Great header, great cross as well.
It's a lovely delivery.
Wait for this replay.
I think it's
so I can
Renan Lodi.
Yeah, I'm not sure who crossed it, but Lindelof wins the first header and then
see.
slip from Fred. He just whips in a nice ball. He's onside. Great header by Felix.
Oh, off the
It's an
post.
absolute
It's a beauty.
stunner, yeah.
That is Renan Lodi, isn't it?
It's a
Yeah.
gorgeous ball in.
Oh, he's straining
header.
every sinew for that one.
Yeah. That's the Simeone coming out in him already. You know, it's
Yeah.
taken a while for João Felix to be accepted as part of this Atleti lineup. But ultimately, when he's chucking himself at balls in the box and lobbing them off the side,
It's a great goal, to be fair.
he is a brilliant header.
We just need to get our foot on the ball and just settle a little bit. They're pressing as well.
Yeah.
But
Well
you'd
then,
expect
United with it all to do.
that. Definitely.
You said, well, look, you said they'd win 2-1, so it's fine.
Still on
it's
it,
just
still on
still on. It's still not confused. Sam, one I want to know is, have you put anything down in your notebook, and what's in there so far? Is it just lineups? Is it just notes for tonight?
It's the two formations. Two formations with some notes underneath. That's mostly form coming into it. And when I pulled out that absolutely cracking stat earlier about 17 wins this season by 3 or more goals, I can't just keep that in there. I have to write it down. I'm not that skilled. Would you like to know the rest of the notes?
Sudoku or something.
No. I'm a professional. I've written the formations down and I've written the player numbers down so I can make sure I know exactly who I'm blaming for what. Because it would be unfair, wouldn't it, if I said, oh, this man's chopped him down, and it wasn't. I mean, I was correct. It was definitely Edson Alvarez. He's definitely responsible.
Well,
but I know that because I've written it down.
I'm glad you can read squad numbers. Is my big takeaway from what you've got in this notebook. So let's talk about United's away form, because it's a bit of a mixed bag in some ways. It feels like it's improved of late, but 7 wins, 6 draws, 3 defeats. It isn't awful, but it's also potentially not what you expect from Manchester United.
Of course, obviously went on that massive run, didn't we, with our away form. And then off the back of that, to be so inconsistent, it's so frustrating. Even our home form isn't the most reliable, to be fair. I think home and away at the minute, we've just been a mixed bag. But after the positive result against Leeds and Brighton as well, I was hoping that we could kind of kick on and kind of find a bit of consistency. But again, tonight, tactical changes obviously have happened with Lindelof coming up right back and whatnot. We haven't stuck with the same 11. McTominay, I'm guessing, was injured, who I think could be a big loss in this game. Just inconsistencies left, right and centre, whether it's to do with the lineup, whether it's to do with just general performances. You mentioned it earlier. I can't remember the last time we had a 90 minutes where I've been actually satisfied with the performance and I feel, what, we controlled that game. I can't remember the last time we did that, genuinely. Because it's either one half or the other half.
Last season, sometime, yeah.
Because people were saying the Leeds game at the start of the season and whatnot, but even then they had chances and we were quite lucky in that sense.
Yeah,
we don't control games very well at all.
No, I was going to say the Burnley game at Old Trafford just before Christmas, or just before New Year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last 20 minutes or so were a bit haphazard. But that's the thing, like when you're when you're so far up at half time, you can afford to give that back. So yeah, Sam, I just want to know what you were laughing about in the middle of that. You just literally had a little moment where you.
Well, hang on,
and I assumed it wasn't what Sophie said because it wasn't very funny.
One moment, because Anthony's just winding up to shoot. No, okay, he's lost the ball. Grimaldo's tackled him.
I thought you were at one point having a laugh at United's away form, and I was like, that's a bit mean.
No, I was giggling. Because basically 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 did an amazing job of driving forward in transition and getting Benfica 3 men up towards the box, 3v3, loads of space. He lays the ball off to Gonçalo Ramos, who just air swipes it. Total miss kick from about 25 yards. I mean, it was never going to go in anyway, but it was a great piece of build-up, good speed. Tirap did so well to drag them through into space, and Ramos just kind of, that's going to be a foul, isn't it? Ramos just fell over as he went to hit it. It's not been a great game from him so far. 12 minutes, he's been hacked down twice and he's air swiped it once.
I mean, the hacked down bits in promising positions isn't the worst thing in the world.
No, I just think he's like not having the best time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. To be honest, Ajax have had a really poor 12 minutes. For about 3 minutes, they couldn't get it out of their own third. Benfica have started really, really well.
Okay.
Hopefully we can grow into it a bit more now.
Well, let's go back to Madrid and let's go to 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪, who scored the goal, obviously, but has been really involved. And look, there's been criticisms from around the place, from his manager as well, that he's not been the guy that's been coming deep, who's been able to get involved. And when he took over from Griezmann, a lot of people said, oh, maybe he will fulfill that free role. And I think it was his work rate that was lacking. But from that, we're seeing him really, really start to get deep down this left-hand side to fill in with his left wing-back. And he's been the star Portuguese 7 on the pitch so far.
He definitely has. I mean, it's a great goal and not one that you'd usually associate with him. Simeone, I think, is a great manager, and to play under him with the likes of Griezmann and Suarez and players like that around him as well, he's only going to get better realistically, isn't he? But it's just a wonder kid. Felix is one of these where I think in years to come he's one that we'll look back on and say what a player he was. But look at for a header, just watching a replay again now. De Gea just has to sit, just watch.
It's just
great cross as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly placed.
Do you know what,
how much of that is him just lobbing himself at it? I'm not. Is a different question.
Do you know what, De Gea does the old stock still better than most keepers, though, doesn't he?
Yeah,
when he's been beaten and he doesn't move, his sort of frozen statue pose. So watch the goal go in, watch the ball go in the net. It's one of the best out there in the goalkeeping realm for sure. He makes the goals look better by going.
Yeah.
Like
it's like when a keeper throws himself at something that's going top corner and it just evades their hand.
Yeah.
You know you're in for something special. That goal is the first Atleti have scored in their last 5 games against English opposition. That said, their last 5 games against English opposition have been deep in these tournaments, and therefore they're not like, oh yeah, sound, we're just like mupping about, and they tend to be.
2 of those games are Chelsea in the semi-final when they lost, right? Yeah.
So it's not all bad, but it's good for them to break that.
They're playing through our midfield far too easily at the minute, though.
Where's McTominay when you need him, so?
Exactly.
Oh no.
Just good work rate from Rashford there. They're all over us.
They are, and I mean it doesn't look like. Looks like it's just opening up and
yeah.
Ooh. I mean, if they were going to score against anyone English at the moment, it feels like United are probably a good bet. That's the
definitely
goals conceded from the Premier League top 4, and I suppose that's the difference, right, between a top 2 who have clearly broken away, and Chelsea we expected to be in that apart from injuries, and then this 4th place race, which United currently are ahead of, but ultimately feels like a really tricky kind of task.
Of course, yeah. But you need to go on a consistent run, and that's just something we seem incapable of doing at the moment. We just don't seem to have that in us to be able to go on and run a game where we put in consistent performances. Like I say, we can't even do that from half to half, let alone from game to game at the minute. So it's a really frustrating one, and it's going to be an absolute scrap to get that top 4, 100%. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but we need to play better than we have been so far. I think all I can say is it's 14 minutes in, there's still plenty of time for us to get back into this game.
Oh yeah, and also if you play really badly for this 45 minutes, you might be alright in the second half.
Yeah, true. Good from Rashford there, good run.
Very good.
Bruno's had a pop.
Oh.
It's corner.
It's a corner kick.
Very deceptive that shot, wasn't it?
Yeah,
right.
optical illusion that one, wasn't it?
He's one of those ones that loops in.
Yeah.
But United have a corner. That's it's
more
progress.
positive from Rashford, to be fair. That direct running that I mentioned.
Yeah, you were talking about, aye.
That's what I like seeing Rashford do best, just running at players.
Yeah, I mean, if there's if you can concede from a corner, you can score from a corner.
We scored 1 in 140 games.
Great cliches from me.
Yeah, the old adage.
You did score 1, at the weekend, didn't
yeah.
it? So
first one in 140 corners, I believe. That was the 140th one.
But it could be like London buses.
True.
When they come in
That would
threes.
Be nice.
Take 2 for now.
2 will do. I'm just radiating some positive vibes for everyone. Everyone feels a bit upset. Ajax are playing badly, so you're upset over there.
Yeah.
United 1-0 down, you're upset over here, Sophie. It's all there's a lot to do.
I'm not upset. I think I'm numb now, to be fair. I don't think I'm upset.
That's even worse.
Savage, you get a talking
going
to.
on here already. This seems like a very massive complaint for conceding a corner in the 15th minute of a game.
I never understand that. I just think just give the free kick or the penalty. Like, you don't get a warning anywhere else. Like in the box, the ref always seems to give them a chance.
It's because the play's not live, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the rule?
But let the ball get kicked in and then just blow the whistle, like, don't pre-warn them. Do you know what I mean?
Don't pre-warn them.
Without going completely football cliches, that did feel a bit 6-1, half a dozen of them.
Yeah.
Here we go. Pick out the man at the far post.
Is
Here
it?
it is.
Oh,
It's
Why
in.
Ajax?
It's
Who was
in.
that?
Ajax has scored. Dusan Tadić,
good goal.
side, beautiful guided side foot. So Ajax escaped down the right side. 𝗪𝗁𝗏 has the presence of mind to look up and he sees a man over. You've got two men over actually on the far post, but the centre back takes care of one. Tadić is on the outside. The cross is actually a little bit short. Like I think a lot of people probably received that so they could just sort of 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪𝗏 it, if I could say that. But
do you really have to bring that back up?
No, I didn't have to, but I did. But it bounces, I think, or at least it comes into quite a tough spin, and he it's Tadić, isn't it? I mean, he's an absolute wonder. So win the ball high up, 𝗪𝗁𝗏 picks him out.
Oh, it's a nice cross to be fair. Could hit it first time.
He forces Tadić to finish it in one way, and that is, I can see that going over the bar. Most people put that straight over the bar.
Though.
Beautiful finish. Tadić, 𝗪𝗁𝗏 to Tadić, brilliant combo.
That's I tell you what, that's a glorious goal in so many ways. One, the finish. Two, that lovely cross. But three, we've just talked about the fact that Benfica have been all over them. That Ajax have failed to get going, that it's really been a struggle for teams to really cook on. And then suddenly one mistake, 𝗪𝗁𝗏 nicks it off, a bad goal kick, 2 touches to Antony, and the third is in the back of the net from Dusan Tadić. That's what good teams do to you. They punish you.
It is. It's a sting. It's a real sting. 18 minutes gone and Tadić has put Ajax ahead, and yet for 17 minutes, all right, bit of sideways possession for 2 or 3 minutes, but ultimately couldn't really get their foothold in the game. Benfica spent more time in the Ajax territory than the other way around, but yeah, that's it. That's quality. That's a lovely finish.
There's a word on Dusan Tadić in general, really, because a lot of people, when he left Southampton and to go back to Ajax, kind of was like, oh, that was his kind of shot at the big time. He has turned into such an incredible player. He's 4th best for assists in the Champions League since September 2018. It's just been such a remarkable turnaround for him. He's played in that striker role in the last time they went to a semi-final run. He's played out wide now. He's so versatile and just continues to lead this Ajax team so beautifully.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't his biggest fan in the Premier League. I really wasn't.
I think we saw it in glimpses in the Premier League, but he was never consistently...
He was consistently very angry with his teammates.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was a bit stroppy. But it turns out he deserved better. He deserved better than what he was given towards the end at Southampton. And he's very much proving that, because you put him amongst an all-star cast at Ajax, put him amongst players on his level, and, well, look at the results. Tied 4th most assists in Champions League since September 2018, and he's scored a lot of goals for Ajax over this time as well. Played up front, played as a 10, now has played most of the season on the left wing because Sebastian Haller is up front. The guy's unbelievable. He gets better with age. Into his 30s, and he just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I mean, here's his heat map there tonight, and the amount you're starting to see the golden bits, and that's when you're covering ground, right? And
that's a lot of touches in one single.
That's what I mean. For a 30-year-old as well, at that kind of movement, he's getting into not the twilight of his career. I think that's probably unfair, but you're starting to think that maybe you get one more go round this Champions League merry-go-round where Ajax might develop a crop that are good enough to make a deep run. You imagine by the time the next one comes around, which could only be 2-3 years, but it might be just past Tadic's time in the sun. He might be more of a kind of bit part player. But for him to just have continued to, as you say, join these all-star casts, and then you look at them and you think, okay, all the players in that last team, you talk about De Ligt, you talk about De Jong, you talk about all those players who absolutely shone, Hakim Ziyech, and it was Tadić who was absolutely the golden boy of that generation. You think, wow, that's incredible. And then he goes and leads another generation through, and they look like they're doing it again. So
when that first generation, the single best performance that any of those Ajax players put in during that magical run to that semi-final was Dusan Tadić at the Bernabeu when Ajax beat Real Madrid. That was the best any Ajax player played that whole season. He had the headline showing, the headline performance. So he's very consistent, but his highs are higher than pretty much anybody else. Now, I'm not sure if it's quite the case with this new crop, because I think Antony could give him a run for his money, to be honest with you. But over the course of that campaign, he was genuinely incredible. And to see that off the back of his final season with Southampton, I just could not believe it. I really could not. Just a real obvious example of a player lifting their level with better players around them. And he moved into a scenario where he's not that quick, right? He doesn't have that much speed.
Yeah, he never has been.
But it doesn't matter in this context.
It's just
In
an
a
intelligent
relegation
player
threat
though,
in
isn't it?
Southampton, it was a problem
Yeah.
because they wanted to kick it long. Here, it's not a problem.
Yeah, you put him in a system that suits him.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to say that?
Yeah.
A player in a system that suits them. You might have just seen there on the screen the LiveScore match tracker. That's something available in the app if you're watching the games on there tonight. So make sure you check that one out as well. Anything to report in Madrid, Sophie?
Not really. I think we're slowly coming into the game, trying to keep it a bit more. But even so, when Atletico win it, they're breaking through our midfield very quickly on the counter-attack. We look very susceptible. But yeah, I think we're just trying to settle the game a little bit, maybe quieten the crowd by keeping the ball. But conceding that early goal is just a bit of a sucker punch, really, that you don't want to do that and just encourage the fans even more. So yeah, you can see now we're just playing it around Maguire. Obviously pass it to Varane, and we're just trying to just settle it a little bit. The issue I have is when it goes past the halfway line, they're pressing us high and we just seem to be giving it straight back at the moment. We're not really doing anything progressive, as you can see there. Yeah, Atletico well in control at the moment.
Do we have a Rashford-Sancho swap signs deal going on?
Yeah, they swapped a few minutes ago. Not really seen anything come of that yet. But we're not getting high enough on the pitch at the moment to see that.
If
so
you can't get over the halfway line, the two lads on the wings aren't going to be doing too much damage.
And then we just considered another corner.
Wingers always do that, don't they? Like, do you want to swap sides, see if it's any better? Well, yeah, but you're going to have to be past the ball first.
Yeah, it might work, but we'd have to start.
Whereas we were against
a
quick fullback.
Yeah, Mazraoui got booked. There's been a bit of chopping, I'm not going to lie. There's because Ajax obviously trying to establish their rhythm. I think ultimately, it won't be an official phrase, but it's essentially they go one goal up and it's like engage sideways passing. Like they just want to stroll around across the back. So Benfica up the ante and try and steal the ball off them. It riles Ajax up, so Ajax go sliding in. And Mazraoui has gone into the book for the first time this game, the first booking of any player. Enten Alvarez could have had one earlier, but Mazraoui now has one.
23 minutes is an early card. Got to keep an eye on that now.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're Mazraoui and you like a challenge.
Yeah, of course. He's got Everton running at him, and Everton has been pretty lively so far. Received the ball and tried to turn and go.
Rashford there trying to run in behind.
Ooh.
Is that a corner for us?
If it's not, it's a penalty.
I was going to say.
If he's not got any of the ball there,
I'll take
he's
either right
completely
now.
and utterly taking the man out. I think it's
a good
just
tackle.
a very good challenge there.
That was very close. That was very close. Rafa Silva's just escaped in down the right-hand side.
Poor corner from Bruno.
Escaped in down the right, got to the byline and tried to fling the ball across. And he's kind of almost, it's flicked off, right, okay, yeah. It's flicked off the Ajax player and almost gone in kind of like behind the goalkeeper at near post.
Classics.
And Pasveer just about reacted in time and swatted it away for a corner. That was nearly a disaster.
We finally got a corner and it was the most awful delivery from Bruno. Didn't beat the first man.
Vertonghen.
It all got flicked onto the air.
18! Oh, and it's gone in off the goalkeeper this time. It's gone in off the goalkeeper this
You were
time.
complaining that he didn't have enough to do. Has that gone in off 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗓?
It's gone off the goalkeeper.
Are you sure?
He's been, I think it was in off, maybe it was off 𝗟𝗓 and through the goalkeeper.
I think it was
He's got
𝗟𝗓.
so many in the right net, now he's got one in the wrong net.
Oh no, does this take his tally down to 9?
I don't know. That is an official question. Do own goals count as like minus goals
Let's have a look.
when you're talking about Champions League campaigns?
I just wouldn't want to mention it if I'd scored an own goal, to be honest. I'd like, just don't keep a record of that. I think it was 𝗟𝗓, you know.
Let's have a look. 𝗟𝗓's 22 here.
He's in the middle.
Oh,
it's definitely off
it's
𝗟𝗓.
𝗟𝗓. Oh,
It's a striker's
no.
finish.
It is, yeah.
It's instinctive.
It
The
is.
tongue
seen
didn't
him
get
there.
around the outside.
This is basically a shambles start to finish. So Benfica swing the corner in. Jan Vertonghen gets a free header and and heads it straight into the back of his teammate from about a yard. It bounces back to him. He shoots again. It gets blocked. It goes wide. Vertonghen retrieves the ball again. The Ajax player falls over. He slams it into the box, and 𝗟𝗓 scores an own goal.
Wow.
I mean, that's not what I signed up for. That's not Champions League football.
Our man James Lorenzo was on the screen here talking about this before the game, saying that 𝗟𝗓 was one of the deadliest strikers in Europe.
He's damn
Remco Pasveer feels that way right now.
He's damn right.
Well, now the Ajax defence feel like know what everyone else in the group stages felt like when 𝗟𝗓 was down the other end.
Absolutely.
Sancho's trying to get a corner there, trying to link up with Bruno down the right-hand side to flex out for a goal kick, unfortunately.
It's just not
clicking, no. But we are looking a bit more positive. We're getting higher up the pitch at least.
A little bit wider. Are they still on those sides? We've got Sancho on the right.
Sancho's on the right at the
Stayed
minute,
in
yeah.
those positions.
Yeah.
Wow. 3 goals in 26
I
minutes.
know.
You would have taken it.
My prediction's gone.
Your prediction
Oh yeah,
is
of course,
gone.
yours this one,
2-0.
yeah.
There you go.
There's
We're still in play.
There are no
Still-
prizes or anything, are there? So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you're only allowed back on again if you get it right.
Has to be dead on.
Yeah, I was closest last week, so I just got to stay in the chair. But it depends who you get. Yeah.
We don't want to concede another one, especially like still a long time to go in this game. I think if we can score, I mean, before half time would be nice. Set it up a nice second half, but yeah, if we concede another one, then you feel the worst really for
Just
United.
think Atletico have got those great players to bring off the bench.
Exactly.
I don't want to alarm anyone. I don't want to change the pace too much from the Champions League to the Championship, but it would be irresponsibly not to let you know that Alexander Mitrovic has broken the Championship goals record with
Has he?
14 games left to play.
Wow.
How many goals is that?
32 goals.
That's a lot of goals.
He scored a lot of goals. So I thought it wouldn't be fair if I didn't let you know the big news
Here
of the
come
night.
play that ball.
Oh, I
Oh,
should have
Darwin.
played him
If
in.
Darwin looks up there, he's got Rafa streaming through.
That's a very
That was
Darwin move. Like, I love Darwin Nunes to pieces, right?
Yeah.
And you know this, but Darwin tried to take on the player because he thinks he's faster than him.
Absolutely.
When he
When
has
he-
passes available.
Just slot
He's
that ball
very
through.
He's very Darwin.
Darwin trying to break through on the left. He's got the centre back 1v1 on the transition, and Rafa Silva is streaming out into the middle, calling for the ball. And Darwin goes, you know what? I think I'll run round my man first.
Very end to end. This. I watched an interview with Darwin Nunez last night on the Champions League magazine, and it was really, really interesting about how he obviously was sort of a late developer and one of those players who, so he was like, oh, my family just thought I could do it, so they just cracked on. And they were like, oh, right, cool. But he ended it by saying, I'll always remember myself as,
there it
goal.
is! Oh, it's in!
2-1.
Let's just check the flag, but that looks like it's okay. Sebastien Haller has scored in the correct goal.
That means that Seb Haller
It's back to 10.
he's on a naught. Yeah, he's on a net naught for the night.
Sebastien Haller has put Ajax 2-1 up. Lovely little move from Ajax.
It's
Crossing.
early for you to be right on the prediction, Sophie.
Yeah,
There's still a long time to go.
this
to
is
be fair
we're in a lot of
this
danger here.
Whilst it's good that there's a long time to go on the other
Yeah.
side for you, the prediction on this side is difficult.
Yeah, this is a great response from Ajax. Really, really good. Just take control of the game a little bit, slow it down and then speed it back up. Good combo down the left side. A fairly early cross. Think it's Blind, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll see in a minute. No, it's not. That's Lisandro Martinez. Lisandro Martinez swings it in. It's one of those horrible ones. Okay, so Vertonghen tries to score an own goal, comes off the keeper, and Haller taps it home, and he's definitely onside, so it's okay.
If Vertonghen tried to score, he tried to score at one end, it's come off Haller.
Yeah.
If Haller tried to score and it come off Vertonghen at the other end, then we'd
be evens.
Yeah.
We're basically even anyway, but yeah. I mean, again, pretty hapless stuff, but Vertonghen can only direct it at his own keeper. Keeper can only parry it back out, go straight
No,
to Haller.
Benfica on the attack again though. What game that is?
This is a really good game.
That's a
Yeah.
good game, yeah.
Ronaldo, I think it's one of the first times I've seen him touch it really.
He's come very deep there as well. Very, very deep.
But look how they're sitting in. Look at their shape. We've got to try and break them down. And that's what we really struggle with.
Yeah.
We don't move the ball fast enough for my liking.
Okay, we've got a question of TikTok. James Upson says, will this be Erik ten Hag's last season at Ajax? Personally think he's due a shot at a big club. Sophie, I mean, you were talking about the potential of him coming to Manchester United. Not sure if that's...
Ajax not a big club?
Well, I would say Ajax are a big club,
Big club.
but they don't play in the big 5 or 6 leagues in Europe, so I suppose there's that kind of one hanging over them.
I suppose that's fair to James Upson.
So it is fair. It is fair.
Very fair.
What do you reckon, Sophie?
I would love him at United. He's my ideal choice to replace Ralph as manager. But unfortunately, I just can't see it happening. I think it seems written in the stars that Pochettino's coming in, and we'll miss out on Ten Hag and whoever does end up with him. Because I do think he'll leave Ajax and go for a new project at some point in his career. He's still obviously growing, you'd say, as a manager. But watching Ajax right now, they're just so exciting to watch. And then, like I say, him at United, I think would be my ideal choice. But Pochettino, I think, is the most likely option.
Okay, Sam.
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you think he's going
Ten
to?
I've got Nicolas Otamendi's bleeding, so I got a bit distracted.
There's a lot of blood going on in the Ajax pitch.
Yeah. Erik ten Hag. I mean, he'd be a catch for anybody, wouldn't he? Ultimately, I think we've got enough of a sample size now, three whole years for Ajax to think that this is some of the best football you can ask for, and I think he might just have the pedigree as well to be able to coach this into a top team. Sometimes it's a case of like, well, yeah, he's a football idealist, but Can he walk into that dressing room and really command those players and get them to do
complex.
it? Yeah, I mean, mine was going to be Graham Potter. Like, Graham Potter coaches tremendous football. Does he have the gravitas to command a top-tier or elite dressing room? Probably not. That's the risk you're always taking. And when you're a club like Manchester United, first of all, you're assessing the playing style and the playing ideals, sure, but you're also assessing whether or not that manager can handle these players and whether he can hack it at the top level and hack it under this much pressure. I think we're probably at the point where we can say Erik ten Hag can do that. And therefore, he's a catch. And if United get him, I think they're pretty lucky. But I agree. I think it's written in the stars that Pochettino ends up there.
Where would he fit best?
Ten Hag?
There you go.
Manchester City post-Pep.
Yeah, I mean...
Depends on that situation,
of
course.
Sophie. The face is just pulled. I could just... Out of the corner of my eye, I was like, oh no.
It's just
that's
sinking
the
into
worst
my
thing
seat.
you
I
could have
didn't say it
said.
on purpose, not just to upset our lovely guest. No. Nicolas Otamendi is now wearing a swimming cap, like an Olympian.
It's quite neat.
Because he's been bleeding so much.
Atleti have quite a dangerous free kick here.
Yep.
Ooh,
Ronaldo.
they're now exclusively crossing to ហ្��𝗪 because he's the best header of the ball.
Go on.
United could be in here.
Oh, Ronaldo had to make that pass though.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that was a foul.
Yeah, but Atletico, you know, they play the system that they crafty Simeone.
Yeah,
Go there for anything,
he's an angry
appeal
man.
for anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he takes the ball there. And then he kind of falls over after that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He wins the tackle. That bit's fine.
Yeah.
It's just the.
He nearly pops the ball. There's so much contact on it, and he pops it.
When was that? When we saw two balls popped in one day? That was
I
a
remember that
strange
actually.
game.
I remember that.
There's been a few pop balls recently, hasn't there? It's been a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Ajax looked like they were in again for a second, but they're not. It's been cut out. This is a really good game of football. That's my big takeaway. Look, Sebastian Haller now has the most goals scored in the first 2 games in the Champions League with 5. Most goals scored in the first 5 games with 9. Most goals scored in the first 6 games with 10. And now the most goals scored in the first 7 games with 11. Although this suggests that we're not taking one off.
Very
He's
generous.
not taking one off for his own goal. Here's his touch map tonight. I like the fact that 2 of them are in the opposition boxes and both of them were goals. That's my favourite part of this touch map so far.
Atletico again on the attack.
But he has been facilitating Sam as well as scoring at both ends.
He's been good. The Ajax attack is ticking. It's ticking along. It's really, really nice. I mean, look, a lot of it's gone down that right-hand side. Odd then that the goal would come off an early cross from the left, but maybe that's just a case of unbalancing your opponent, getting them to commit to one side and then flinging it over to the other one. I mean, that's the beauty of having all these players that Ajax have. You can attack in so many different ways. Gravenberch can just rumble forward with the ball. Berghuis keeps dipping in and out, running deep and running back again and making late runs. Tadic is getting into the box. Antony and Mazraoui are combining on the right. Haller is standing there conducting it all and scoring goals at both ends. It's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to watch so far. But Benfica are playing their part. Like, they're ruffling feathers. They're a serious threat on the counter-attack, particularly down Benfica's left-hand side. So they are starting to target Mazraoui now. Mazraoui and Timber. They're trying to get the ball to Darwin. They're trying to get the ball to Everton as much as possible. They're trying to run that channel. They know the space, and they know that right back is on a yellow. So it's a problem area for Ajax if you stretch it.
There's some trepidation about Lisandro Martinez. But it all seems to be a bit bizarre.
I think he's okay.
Well, there was some real worry about him. Dusan Tadic has come flying over to make sure that he gets medical attention.
Yeah.
I think he might have banged his head.
Yep.
We hope he's all right.
Ronaldo's going mad at the ref. So
that's not ideal, really, is it?
Should be a booking for an Atletico player who stopped the counter attack then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure really. Ronaldo, he would have had to run past 10 men, to be fair. He picked it up really deep. It was a foul, but booking, I don't think the ref is ever going to book him there, really.
Just showing a replay, that Tadic goal is so sweet.
Very, very
The
good.
control on that,
the
control on that is beautiful to guide it round. This next one, unfortunately, the Sebastian Haller.
It's a great finish by Haller, that one.
It's less sweet, but well done to Vertonghen, who tried and tried and tried and tried some more, and eventually he managed to force the ball into the net through sheer force of will. And then, unfortunately, two minutes later, he sort of hands one to Sebastian Haller. But it's a good...
Give them one each to each other.
Yeah,
it's something you've got to
absolutely.
respect.
You're even on that one.
We saw something similar in that Premier League game between Newcastle and Everton a couple of weeks back, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
So, everyone handing each other own goals. Let's just take a look at Atleti's, the way that they've been playing. Everything seems to be going down United's left, down Atleti's right. You'd think, Sophie, that when you have a standard right back playing in a position that doesn't necessarily do it, it does feel like you wouldn't attack that side, but it does seem to be going down Atleti's right.
Yeah, I think at the moment for us, we're kind of not helping ourselves. Passing the ball far too slowly, like I say, on the counter-attack, there's gaps forming. Obviously, the goal came from that left-hand side, the ball was whipped in. And as you've already mentioned, great header from Felix, but I think at the moment we're just not handling their press. They're boxing us in. The second we get the ball, they're just 4 or 5 Atletico players around us, bombarding us, and we just can't cope with that. I think if we can play out and beat that press, then maybe it'll open up and we can see the likes of Rashford and Sancho getting into the game a bit more, but at the moment we're just kind of being penned in, and they're frustrating us, and it's working.
It felt like a frustrated shot from Ronaldo, that, right?
Well,
He's miles out, he's wide of target, and he sort of just snatched at one on the turn, and you're thinking, that's not a smart shot. It's not a Cristiano Ronaldo thinking about it, but it does feel like...
It feels like there's an edge to the game. There's quite a few tackles snapping in. Ronaldo, as I mentioned, on at the ref, because Atletico have made a few challenges and they'd stop attacks and whatnot. Which we know that's how they play. They'll disgruntle, they'll rumble
they're here
feathers.
to wind up.
Exactly. And at the moment, I think we're kind of falling for that.
Things I wasn't expecting to say before the game. 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪 has just absolutely sent Bruno Fernandes for a hot dog. Like, a pint of milk, packet of crisps, the whole shebang. Just a little Cruyff turn and he's gone.
It's like that pass from Bruno there, though, and it's just pure frustration, just booting it over the halfway line. There's nothing on at all. We just can't beat their press at the moment.
Wow. Didn't expect to hear that. Not from Atleti. And not been particularly great at anything recently.
You just knew they would turn up against us. Felix, great feet. Lindelof, to be fair, stood him up well.
He has done well there, hasn't he?
Meanwhile, Liverpool are 3-0 up at half-time in the Premier League against Leeds United. Question for you, Sophie. Liverpool or Leeds? Who do you dislike more?
I'll just quit watching football.
Well, you dislike them. Which did you dislike more?
Both. I have to say Liverpool, but Leeds, of course. It was lovely to beat them at the weekend. Always is. But yeah, I hate both.
I was just thinking about watching it. I was like, imagine which way the United fan would want this to go.
I think I'd choose to watch a soap than watch that. And I don't really watch soaps, but I'll just avoid that game at all costs.
Ajax are in Benfica's box. They get line up shot. Okay, straight at the keeper. Lovely move there down the left. 𝗟𝗏𝘃𝗲𝗪 has just run about 40 yards or so with the ball, taking it past someone all the way down the line, laid it into the path of, there he is, just flipping it round to Raps there and carrying on. He lays it into the path of Tadic. He's slightly behind him. He does so well to just kind of like drag it with him and keep his momentum. And in the end, the shot is straight at the keeper. But another nice move for Ajax down the left. They've definitely shifted gears and they've started going down the left now.
You've got to hit better strikes than that if you're going to beat Odysseas Vlachodimos in the Benfica goal.
Yeah, the legend himself.
He is. Made a couple of Champions League teams of the week here on LiveScore.
He has done, yeah. Mostly, not really because of his playing ability, Jack, because it's because you enjoy saying his name.
That's a great name.
So you always nominate him so you can just say his name.
No, he did make some very important saves.
I'm sure
they did get past Barcelona in the groups. I will remind you.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
Odysseas Vlachodimos was some really good stuff.
Everyone fell on Ronaldo. He's getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah, we've got
kick to the calf. I think that one.
Now that could have been a card. That one could have been. Yeah. It probably isn't a stone wall yellow, but it's
more the repetition of the fouls, though, isn't it? Especially on him.
Oh, but this is.
Are they rotating it as well? Is it always someone different?
They're rotating the striker.
Oh, don't worry, it's always someone different. Yeah.
Oh, this is the Simeone masterclass. It's who's going to kick Ronaldo this time. This time it's Marcus Llorente. Oh, there's less in it than I thought.
That is a kick, to be fair.
Here's one. Dusan Tadic has never been on the losing side in the Champions League when he scored for Ajax.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So there's no way Benfica win this game. Is what that stat is saying. It's saying it's dead cert Benfica win.
Okay.
It's a lock-in.
It's a good stat.
Pogba, dilly-dally in the middle.
He scores, he wins.
𝗟𝗏𝘃𝗃𝗏𝗃 has been in the opposition half far more than I've expected him to be. He keeps striding forward through this midfield. What a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Fair play to him.
I think there's numerous times Bruno, Pogba, there's one too many touches in the middle and they're just, being possessed easily by Kondogbia in there. We're playing, like I said, that's what I mean, we're playing into our own, again, just giving them back.
We're just going to take a quick mic check here, so if your mic has just fixed itself, so they're going to step out and they're going to fix that for you.
No problem.
Now you're left with me.
Sam, it's you and I.
Just me, you, and my notebook.
Well, the notebook's got its own seat now.
Pop the notebook there.
It's all very exciting.
Prop it up. That's fine.
Yeah, it gets his own little spot.
Just pop it up. Yeah.
All good.
All the details.
Good.
All the details. Tracking all the good players, all the bad players, all the good moments, all the bad moments. Goals and assists, so I could remind myself as well.
Fantastic. I mean, it does feel like Ajax have kicked up a gear here.
Definitely.
They feel like they're growing into this. And look, Benfica are always going to be a threat on the counter, right? Because they have such an immensely talented forward line playing here that you can't write them out. But Ajax feel like they're hitting their gear.
So Ajax, their recovery defending so far has been really, really strong. And there was a moment a couple of minutes ago while Ronaldo was being kicked where Rafa Silva was breaking in behind and 𝗟𝗏 is so quick,
yeah, he is
the Ajax centre-back. And he managed to draw level with him stride for stride. And Rafa Silva tried to take a big touch to try and overtake him, but he was already running at full speed. Timber just has this extra gear, just goes one stride further and just takes it off him. And then Rafa Silva fouls him because he's frustrated, and that's what's happened. And then just there, as we saw, Benfica combined in quite a tight area. It's quite difficult to do that at such speed, and they managed to counter through and try to get to Ajax's box. But Ajax has grouped them out. It's just numbers at that point. It's not spectacular defending. They just get 4 people around the ball. So they've done a really good job so far of that, because Benfica obviously pose this clear threat in transition and on the counter. They've got very quick players, and Darwin Núñez is quick and physical. But they've managed to box them out so far quite well.
I didn't miss a goal then.
You didn't miss anything, Benfica would be my way of discussing really what's happened in, I'm sort of watching this and listening to Sam at the same time. I really can. What a ball.
If that's... Oh, my days!
No. How's him?
I mean, it's come straight at him, to be fair, but that was unfortunately... I don't think the ref has given a goal kick. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they might call it back later. Again, but yeah, brilliant. Anthony sort of cuts in off the right flank and then plays that reverse angle pass to Edson Alvarez, who's steaming into the box. The nominated holding midfielder takes a shot, it bounces off the post, comes back and it hits 𝗟𝗏 somewhere in the leg, and it's just one of those where it just hits you so early and so quickly that you can't readjust. And he's put it wide. It may well have been offside, but the ref couldn't be bothered with the flag. Can't be asked to check because there's no point.
Just been booked for complaining about it, because there's been some really odd cards in this game.
Let's have a look. No, he's just taken Julian Weigl out. Fair enough. That's a yellow.
Yeah.
That's a yellow.
Yeah. It's interesting, this kind of midfield battle. I mean, Berghuis obviously dropping in now on a card as well, but Weigl and Adel Taarabt, who we haven't seen very much of, to be perfectly honest.
Taarabat's done a couple of good runs, but yeah, apart from that.
And as you say, that kind of 3-on-2 does allow moments like that Alvarez run through there. It does allow them to get in behind and get on the move, and it's been really impressive how Ajax have started to look to overcome that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Atletico continues to frustrate us. They've got a free kick again.
Cristiano's
Pogba
face
was accused of fouling this time. At least we were getting, I saw Cristiano saying to Rashford then,
Lodi's in behind.
Oh my! How have they missed that?
That's...
Can't believe that hasn't gone. I mean, I'm grateful it hasn't, but...
It's an amazing... What has happened here?
Oh my goodness.
So it's come in as a cross. It's sort of hung up behind him. He sort of tried to stop himself mid-air, head it downwards so it doesn't go over the bar. It's bounced off the floor, off the inside of the bar, down onto the line and away again.
It's a good attacking header, that's what they say. Head it down.
Yeah.
Short free kick, it's
just
clever.
Not quite
really
that
easy.
far down.
Easy, yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's a really, really important interception from Bruno, which didn't look like it was going to matter, but actually I think he doesn't touch that. It's in the back of the net.
Ultimately, that just comes at him too fast there, doesn't it? He just can't rearrange.
And it's a bit behind him.
It's a bit like out there, where it just comes at you, just, oh my good. Like, you just can't do it. You can't rearrange.
Well, United might consider themselves a wee bit lucky not to be 2-0 down at the break, would be my take on that.
They've just really stopped us from playing, basically.
1, 2, 3.
3 fouls.
3 fouls.
He's got a card.
So that should be a red card if you look at Martinelli, what happened the other week, shouldn't it?
No, I think he meant that's your third foul.
Also, I've never seen that happen before. when that happened to Martinelli the other week.
I haven't seen it either.
That was very Hector Herrera, that too. To be
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm just going to kick up multiple fouls, and then we'll be like, we'll switch you out second half, and someone else can do that exact job. Well, it looks like we are about to get to half time in Madrid. Last attack, you'd imagine, and that
We've
is
offered
a
nothing.
desperate ball.
We've offered absolutely.
It's
Oh,
half time in
Ajax through
Madrid.
here. This could be it. Oh, just Anthony's just muffed that under pressure. Grimaldo's done really well there. That was a botched clearance header from just a long ball that went up rather than away, and Ajax managed to steal in, make a meal of it, and just sort of surge towards goal. And well, Anthony, in the end, Grimaldo does really well to recover. Definitely not his area of the pitch, definitely not his job, but there you go. Benfica at the other end.
Benfica not
Darwin has
threatening,
just slung the ball in.
Like I say, you got to get up earlier than that to beat 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪𝗰 from there. Here goes Steven Berghuis, and I'd imagine that will be that.
Yeah. Last 30 seconds on this one. Don't think there'll be any more attacks.
Two big chances in the last minute of injury time in the first half is good vibes.
Yeah.
Good value. Enjoy that a lot.
Whereas we didn't get one in
Play to the
45
whistle.
minutes, so Ronaldo doesn't look happy.
Well, yeah, he's a very unhappy man. There's a lot of arm movements. There's a lot
I
of.
think the issue was as well, Rashford, we had 1 point, and it was literally 1 point where we managed to get high enough up the pitch to swing a cross in. But there's only Ronaldo stood in there, so we're literally just whipping up hopeless balls towards Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's turning to Rashford and saying, just get the ball down, look up and try and play.
Here's a shot. Rafa. Oof.
Deflected.
Blocked by Timber. That's from distance.
And that will be that.
We have half time over here.
Half time in Lisbon. Okay, let's start with Atleti United. Sophie, frustrating. No attempts on target. Two shots. One is an absolute leather from outside the box from Cristiano Ronaldo. The other one is the other one is a deflected strike. It's not been pretty by any stretch of the imagination from United's point of view. But bad 45. That's something to be positive about.
We do a good 45, hopefully, after the break, yeah. I think we just need to settle a bit. I think they've pressed us, and it's worked, to be fair. They've really unsettled us. We haven't given our key players, Pogba, Bruno, time on the ball, cut off any supply line to Ronaldo. Alongside Rashford's got it, he's looking up, he's swinging the ball, and there's only one man in there, and that's Cristiano, who's heavily marked. So you just need to settle a little bit, try and move the ball quick, try and play between the lines. But yeah, all credit to Atletico. I think their plan in that first half has well and truly worked. And you've already mentioned the changes they can bring on as well. It'd be interesting to see if they stick with it. Well, why would they change it? It's working, to be fair. We need to change. And I'm hoping that in the second half, Ralph maybe makes a few tweaks because it's not worked so far.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come on to what you do at half time with the changes, but very good from Atleti. We were a bit concerned about what that team was, what the shape was, what it was going to.
What is the shape exactly? So I've been so focused on mine, I've not quite caught it.
It's the transitional Atleti 5-3-2 to a 4-4-2. They've done exactly
what
they expected. I mean, let's have a look at their average positions, and we can
oh my
see.
Goodness me!
It's really
What is that?
Everything is definitely going down the right. So there's that. But I mean, I think it is more of a 4-4-2, isn't it? I know that's a bit of a strange shape to look at, but you see that kind of allow a right wing back ticking in. You can see that kind of way that it's shaped up. That's for Salico. He's playing almost on top of Llorente. But Renan Lodi is so far forward that he's playing almost as a traditional winger, and that's, I suppose, the key element of how that's going to work.
And that's what happened for the goal as well. Obviously, he whipped that ball in for Felix, the header, so...
Is what it is.
Let's
look at United. How are United managing to cope with it? And the answer is by not getting out of their half, as you say.
Exactly.
It does mean that everyone's just sort of stuck chasing runners.
These pass maps are a disgrace. They're some of the worst pass maps I've ever seen. It's like 7 players in one area on each side. The entire thing is being played in one 10 square metre space.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Go down the other flank.
Yeah, it does feel like there are options if you can open the game up, but no one is opening this game up.
I think we need to play some more risky passes. I think we're playing it all a bit too safe, or as you've seen on many occasions where we're just lumping it up and just hoping because they're pressing us so high, we're panicking a bit. I think if we can beat that press, then that's when the gaps will form. And it's better us just having a bit of composure on the ball, settling, and trying to find feet between the lines. We just haven't found Ronaldo's feet at all in that first half.
Can they sustain that press for 90 minutes?
Hopefully no.
Yeah, I mean,
and we can't surely be that bad for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You hope that something is going to change at half time and we're going to come out better than that. But Simeone so far, you have to say, has got it spot on.
I mean, you can see the story of the first half develop here, and that's the way it is. Nothing at all from United.
We haven't developed at all.
No, I mean, it really does feel low. Obviously, the goal's there, but you can see it there. Maybe lucky. Obviously, the goal has an element of luck to it, but maybe lucky to only be one. And we saw that one come off the bar. Yep. But it did feel like Atleti were creating, and United just weren't. Even if those things are just Renan Lodi getting wide, getting high, and being able to whip them in, those things do create chances. That's how it goes. So. An interesting one, and obviously you're going to have to work out changes, but you'd expect you can beat that press. The players that are going to be able to play the passes are Bruno Fernandes, they are Paul Pogba, and they're already on the pitch. And so that then gives you a question of what do you do to change things up if you're Ralf Rangnick. It's difficult.
Very difficult, and I think for this moment, the person on the pitch, we just need to look after the ball a bit better. I'm not even saying that Ralf should change it in terms of tactically. I do think we miss McTominay's fight in the middle. I think we've been bypassed in that midfield on the counter-attack far too often, and that's where we've seen them create chances. But you are right, obviously they hit the bar as well as scoring one goal. We should be 2 down really, so we're looking at we're still in it, but we need to take comfort from that and take inspiration from that. We are still in the game. It's a little cliche when you're saying it's 0-0 lads at half-time and you're 5-0 down, you know what I mean? We've got to say that, but it's 0-0 and we go again. We're not out of this tie. It could be worse.
Absolutely not. I mean, you predicted 2-1. They need to shift the momentum, though. I think that's the kind of key bit. And Sam, we've seen some strange ones of these of late with how things worked, and we talked about them after the Inter game with Liverpool last week, and how it can be deceiving who has the momentum. This one's very clear. Yeah,
I love these charts. I think they're really handy because sometimes you can talk yourself into saying that a team had dominance for this period or that period, and you can come away with it. And in particular, let's go for last week in Liverpool versus Inter. Both teams convinced they had the better of the game. That chart would suggest that actually maybe that's not the case, and very clear. It's nice to see a storyline of the game like that, and that sort of roughly checks out with what I've been hearing from over this side of the room as well.
Okay, let's switch our attention to the other game. Let's start with Ajax and let's look at their pass map. They'll be relatively pleased. This is a more normal looking pass map, this Sam.
Bit more normal, yeah. I mean, there is a big gap in the middle of it, and where maybe you'd expect 𝗟𝗋 to be, but yeah, you've ultimately seen Gravenberch there as left centre mid, just kind of drifting over to that left side. You've seen really strong combinations in 3v2s from left back, left centre mid, and left wing. Berghuis then drifts over. 𝗟𝗋 has been involved in all of it. Really heavy, thick lines between the goalkeeper and the two centre-backs. That's whenever Ajax try to engage sideways passing mode. Let's take the sting out of the game. Let's just pass it between us three for 3 minutes. It works like a treat. It really does. And Mazraoui and Antony, really good link as well. So over the course of that first half, Ajax sort of shifted from the right over to the left and started attacking on the left side. And that's where they started to find their joy. And that's where they started to find their goals.
Okay, let's flip to Benfica and take a look at theirs because, again, more normal than we expect. But you can see the drift from Darwin here, and that's quite key, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And Ramos isn't really that involved. Darwin is drifting, and Ramos, his strike partner, just is kind of like, I've seen him run the channels, I've seen him drop deep, I've seen him move left, I've seen him move right. No one's passing him the ball. Maybe they don't think he's any good. I don't know. But no one's actually passing him the ball, so he's not being particularly helpful. The midfield aren't getting a hold of it. I mean, they're 3v2. And they're on the side of 2 against Ajax. It is difficult to get your foot on the ball when you're outnumbered, particularly against this team. So I do feel a little bit sorry for them there. But as you can see, they're basically just trying to hit the flanks and trying to hit the flanks early, trying to hit the channels. Darwin is the key. Darwin squared up against the centre-back and something could happen.
Well, yeah. But they've been trying to feed him wide, as you can see. And he does feel like he has that kind of momentum-changing attitude that you can make things work with. And look, he's the reason that you'd say this game isn't over, because if you can get Darwin, chucking about, then things are easier. But you can see that Ajax are very much on top.
They are indeed, yeah. I mean, every time they slow the game down and just take the sting out of it and just pass the ball around for 2-3 minutes, they're gonna start to lift on this momentum chart, and you can see it. They're very good at managing games. They're very smart, very street smart. And every time Benfica try to force their way into the game, and they do have really explosive players, and they are able to surge from deep. They are able to hit the channels and play those slightly more direct balls into Darwin. They're very good at that, and they can do that. They've got the right profiles. Every time they try and do it, first of all, great recovery defending, particularly from Jurrien Timber, who's been brilliant so far. And then Ajax pass it around the back for 5 minutes. It just sucks the energy out of the performance from Benfica.
And out of the stadium,
and
right?
It's so difficult to come back from. You're just playing against a team who's very, very good, very, very cool, and very, very street smart.
It feels like there was that end-to-end nature of it, but like you say, the Ajax ends are far, more direct, they're far sharper.
As soon as it became end to end, Ajax took the ball off Benfica.
Yeah.
That's our ball, you can't play with it. For like 3 minutes. That's basically what happened. As soon
like
as Benfica started to try and make it a bit more back and forth, Ajax said, you're not doing that, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, having absolutely none of it. And, you know, but also 2 very good goals. You got to say, and the Benfica goal is hard work and perseverance and really what you can do. But Ajax have looked good for their
Fair
team.
play to 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲. Perseverance is key. Try again. 3 times he tried to sling that ball towards the goal, and on the 3rd time it was deflected into the goal by Sebastian Haller. Got a bit of help from the opposition. But the first goal that was scored in this game, the 𝗟𝗏 goal, that's beautiful.
Just made it look easy, didn't he?
Absolutely beautiful. Great combination down the right-hand side. Mazraoui skips the ball into the box. It bounces up. It's a really difficult finish. 𝗟𝗏 gets his body over it, and he controls the finish as he bends it into the far corner, gets his foot over the ball. He doesn't lean back. Like, you know that most people are skying that. It's going miles over, and it looked like a really bad miss, but it was a tough finish, and he nailed it.
Yeah, he did indeed. Let's go back to United, Sophie. And what point do you hit Anthony Elanga? Because look at this touch map. There's no touches in the box, and you're thinking, how do you find a way for United to get into this? I know it's not necessarily about changes, it's about changing the way they play as well. But you said beforehand you were looking forward to seeing Elanga off the bench. How quickly do you turn to him?
I don't think yet. I think, like I say, we're still in this game. I don't think we need to be reckless. And I don't mean to sound obviously pessimistic by saying if it's 1-0 at the end of this, then I'm happy, because I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with losing, but we are still in the tie ultimately.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to do anything stupid by being far too open. I think maybe Ranieri or Mark, you might look at bringing Rashford off and maybe bringing Elanga on. Just because I think Elanga brings a breath of fresh air, his fearlessness, his work ethic. And I think he can just literally run at the back 4 and just cause havoc. I think it's been far too easy for them so far. Ronaldo, as we know, is quite static in the sense that he'll stand in between the posts and he's not going to drift, whereas Elanga, I think he can get at them a little bit more. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I hate to say it, one player I think could have helped us in this game is Donny van der Beek, because I think we need to get a hold of the ball and we need to retain it a bit in that middle. And we're not doing that, unfortunately. So, yeah, but Elanga I would look at maybe 60, 70 minutes, depending on obviously how the second half goes.
Chuck Hannibal in there, he'll do
I would
that
love
job
to
for
see
you.
Hannibal in there, but I just don't think that's going to happen just yet.
I don't think it's going to happen just yet either. The old warhorse ~�ᵉ in there. You can just stick him to control the game.
Everyone loves
you know what? There are worse ideas if you cannot
Yeah.
get control of the ball.
If you can't get the ball through the thirds and you're struggling under pressure, there are much worse ideas than bringing @�ᵉ on to retain a bit of the ball. Much worse ideas.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's it. There are options to this bench. Jesse Lingard's there as well.
I think Lingard probably gets a nod just before Elanga, to be fair, if he does make a change at this point, just because of his experience. I think he's probably looking at who can I trust to bring on in this situation, and Jesse has to be high up on that list. Unlucky we haven't got Cavani tonight, because he's another one obviously who would have been nice to bring on. But yeah, I just don't think Ralph will be panicking just yet. Like I say, I don't think we'll be any worse. Surely, I don't want to jinx myself by saying this, but surely we can only get better.
He's going loud. Don't work hard for the first 45 because it means that we can get back in the second half.
Yeah. Also, these are 180-minute games.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
We're a quarter of the way
games.
through.
Yeah, and you have to keep sight of that sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only question is we started off talking about Victor Lindelof at right back, and to be honest, he made 3 big blocks in the first 10 minutes of this game, and it was like, okay, I kind of get the Victor Lindelof thing at right back, but I suppose if you're not getting joy down those flanks, and we spoke about Sancho and Rashford, there is no link up. It doesn't feel like there's anybody ability to kind of make those overloads happen down the flanks. The kind of things we've seen at Ajax actually in the other game. Do you look at trying to bring a Diego Dalot on in order to try and build some sort of relationship down that flank and try and get forward on it, or does that leave you too open?
I think ultimately we've seen Lindelof obviously knows predominantly he's there to defend. He's going to be quite far back, but even Sancho and Rashford have been pinned back by the full-backs of Atletico. That's why I'm saying like Ronaldo's been up there literally on his own, but there's no link between. So yeah, I think maybe at some point it might be a case of pushing the likes of Lindelof, the likes of Luke Shaw higher up the pitch, try and push back Atletico a little bit. And maybe it is look at @Wan-Bissaka or Dalot coming on a natural right back as opposed to someone who's just a centre back by trade filling in there. Yeah. Because we haven't looked like attacking from wide at all, because Sancho and Rashford have been far too deep for us to counter attack. Really, they're winning it straight back Atletico at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's look at the average position map as well, because it tells the same story that you're kind of tell, and the facts are that aside from the fact that the right wing and the left wing are on top of each other because they've swapped sides quite a lot.
Yeah.
It does feel like there's just been this kind of build-up, and United unable to get out of their own half in so many ways.
Yeah, and I think you have to credit Atletico for that, though. They've pressed really well. They've made us really uncomfortable. Like I say, our ball players, Pogba, Bruno, the ones who are likely to link up the play, haven't had a second on it. They've given it away many times in the middle of the park, and Ken-Dogbia has been on top of them really when they've had it. So for me, can we bypass those lines a little bit? Can we play a bit more direct into Ronaldo? Don't be ashamed to do that, but we just, I don't know, we seem to lack the quality to be able to play these passes, or whether it's quality or whether it's just pure, we don't want to play these risky passes. Who knows? But surely Ralph has spoke to him and said, look, if we keep the ball a little bit, we can frustrate Atletico, and then hopefully with the quality players going forward, we can try and create something. I think we just want to see a chance at the moment. That's how it feels as United. We want to cross that halfway line.
Quieten the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Kickoff isn't far away. Don't forget to get involved on social media using the hashtag LiveScore Watchalong. We'll answer the best of your questions in the second half, wherever you send them in. So get them involved, and we'll get at them. It looks like the teams are starting to come back out on both screens. Doesn't look like any changes at half-time for anyone to note. But excited about this. Sam, where are you? Is this an Ajax win?
Yeah,
from what we've seen.
Still an Ajax win so far. I mean, they're 2-1 up, they've hit the post, they've had the better of it, more momentum, more possession.
How many goals kills the tie?
One more for Ajax and this is done. Benfica cannot come back from that, having to go to Amsterdam for the second leg. They surely can't do that. They are the inferior side on paper.
2-goal lead going to Amsterdam, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I suppose. But I can't. Yeah, I couldn't see it. I think one more for Ajax, and this one is probably done. I think Ajax know it as well. I think they do. I think they smell blood, and they're gonna keep going. They're gonna keep frustrating. They're gonna keep attacking.
Back underway in Madrid, Sophie, and well, the wingers have swapped again. This is the most exciting thing I can find from a Manchester United perspective. I'm like, ooh, they're back on their original sides. That's exciting. But yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be a question of pushing onwards, of trying to get back into this without giving too much away, as you say, because a 1-goal advantage is not the end of the world. A 2-goal advantage might well be.
Exactly, yeah. And then that opens up the game even more. And you fear what the score could be if it was to open up, to be fair, if we get a bit reckless. So I think Ralph would be a lot more conservative than that. But that doesn't help. So we need to just keep the ball, and we're playing it out of play. We're just inviting more pressure on. And they don't need any encouragement at the end of the day. So yeah, it's just... This is why I'm not a manager. This is why I'd hate to be a manager, to make these decisions, because Ralph must be pulling his hair out right now watching this.
Thinking, I'm not sure what they're doing that's actually working. Exactly
that.
But they've won another corner.
Another corner.
They've piled on the corners. That was the bet. Cards and corners. Always cards and corners. On LiveScore bet, cards and corners. But yeah, no, it's... Look, the wonder looks like it's rocking, I think, which is kind of a kind of key moment. And
of course,
Ajax have managed to quieten what Benfica like to call the 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪, which I think is interesting. But it very much feels like the wonder is right behind.
I think that's something we've struggled with all season, is being able to control games, to silence crowds. We very rarely control a game, especially for a long period of time. We always invite the opposition on, give them glimpses of goal, give them chances regardless. And good teams like Atletico are going to take advantage of that. Obviously, they pounced on that from the start.
That's the thing. With Atletico, we spent time discussing it before the game. They've been on a bad run of form. They felt a little bit all over the place. They felt like they could be got at. What you've got to do with those kind of quiet crowds is get them quiet straight away, is suck the life out of games. Instead, you let them score, within 10 minutes, and suddenly the whole place is buzzing again, thinking, okay, maybe we are a knockout football team. Yeah. That's okay. It's okay to be a knockout football team. Things, happen, and you can ask a Chelsea fan from last year how they felt about being a brilliant knockout team and not a great league team.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this is Atleti going, right, we're going into a knockout stage. We're going back into 2 fullbacks on either wing. We're gonna play the Simeone way again, and everyone gets right back on board. That was the last thing United would have wanted to happen.
Yeah, I think the concerning thing for me is we haven't even shown any glimpses on a counter-attack like what we're capable of. We haven't had literally any sniff at all of it. Anything. We literally look clueless going forwards, and that again is credit to them. I just think the likes of Sancho, Ronaldo, Rashford,
Oh dear.
What's going
No,
on
I think
in
that
that
one
game?
might be sent off.
That's a yellow. I think that might
Was
just
it a
be. It's
yellow?
just a little bit late, but it wasn't too.
It was-
It was
it-
too.
I saw him rolling
It
around on the
wasn't
floor. I
too
didn't know what
dangerous.
happened.
It wasn't. It probably wasn't a red card, but it's absolutely and utterly pointless. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
real, like lose your head stuff.
So-
Yeah.
1 minute into the second half, you don't
So,
want to lose your head.
my game kicked off a couple of minutes after yours. It was delayed for two reasons. One, the referee was walking around doing this. He'd lost his communication pack,
Right.
misplaced it somewhere. They finally found his communication pack 2.5 minutes later, and then the Benfica players insisted, see it's not too bad, on doing this really rousing team talk speech in the tunnel. I think it was Julian Varga who was really trying to G people up. That's what happens when you G people up. Darwin Núñez just goes straight through the back of, I think it was Lisandro Martinez, and got himself a really pointless yellow card.
But this is it. Like Darwin's a pretty charged up player as it is. That's the kind of way he plays.
Yeah.
Wasteful again.
Um,
So wasteful. Just a hopeful ping.
it was, to be honest, the start of that build-up from United, as going back
It's
to this
better.
one, was much better. Like
Yeah.
a couple of passes, got out wide, felt sensible, and instead,
Just that
the
final
final ball.
It's just hope. It's a hopeful just punt into the box. I mean, obviously, it's nowhere near the box. That one, he just went astray. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild, isn't it, in many ways. Benfica look like they're just playing. They're doing what Ajax did in the first half.
Bit rough at the moment.
They're
Yeah.
just trying to kick them out.
Yeah, a lot of fouls at the moment. Núñez has just got into the book, and then 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃 just really chopped Haller down in the middle of the field. Ref tried to play advantage, and then Benfica they fouled them again, so had to bring it back.
booking for Luke Shaw.
Booking
in
for
this
Luke.
game
We've
as
had 3 bookings in the first 5 minutes of the two halves put together.
Nice.
It's all very,
Right,
very intense.
there's a lot on the line. There's a lot
Yeah.
on the line. Benfica have just actually managed to break through Ajax's midfield.
Ooh,
Sure.
that is a sore
It looked
one
worse
from
in
Luke
slow
Shaw.
motion, to be fair.
Yeah,
That,
I
it was
mean, I
just
don't
his
think it's
touch.
anything. I don't think it's anything
No.
more than.
I remember
the
watching
yellow,
thinking,
but-
was he rolling around for that? He didn't touch him, but he did actually touch him, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a sore. I like them to describe
Yeah.
that. It's a sore one.
It's a sore one.
It's a sore one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pain goes down now a little bit later.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just you're like, ooh, I'm gonna have a couple of marks there when I get up in the morning. But yeah, well,
Another free kick for Atletico.
yeah, they're just piling them on.
Constantly.
And the thing is,
They're loving this at the minute.
yeah,
Well in control. Frustrating us. People losing their heads in
So yellow.
Ronaldo, Bruno, Shaw just getting booked as well.
It's Ramos in the book.
is that 3 Benfica yellows in the first 3 minutes of the game?
It's Darwin and Ramos, but Tarap didn't get booked, I don't think.
I thought he did.
He
Oh,
called him
I
back.
didn't think he did.
Potentially.
Check the live score app.
We'll check the live score
Just
app
check the
and
live
find
score app
out.
for you, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem is, Sam, that Ajax's defence this season has been a joke. They've conceded 5 goals in 23 games.
Yeah.
This is why you were saying that 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃 has the easiest job in the world.
Yeah.
But, Benfica have done well to score in some ways.
Fair, fair.
I know Ajax did it for them.
But
but
LA took sympathy.
yeah, exactly. He just whacked one into his own net. But you can't see them scoring, like we say,
Well,
more than
it's
more
a
than
break
once
again then.
more. Like,
Well, that was difficult.
it just feels like this Ajax defence are so well drilled, and they just, as you say, like that kind of weird little moment that started the second half where they've like kind of lost their heads a little bit. It's trying to like ruffle Ajax. It's not really what Ajax do. They don't really get ruffled. They don't really get worried about it. If you score against them, you need to be doing something exactly right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's only 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃 who've scored twice against them in the entire season in the league, which is a pretty intense kind of feeling.
Well, Rashford.
Yeah. PSV got 1, didn't they? That was the best they could do. It's difficult to ruffle their feathers. I mean, look, we don't know where the edge is on these Ajax players, and we don't know exactly what would make them tip over it. I guess we're watching and we're finding out, but everything we've got in terms of evidence this season would suggest that they are unruffleable. And so far, this game, same scenario. They're just pinging it around, baiting Benfica to step out of their lines, trying to create space, switching it from side to side. Defenders are surging forward into midfield. Fullbacks are kicking on. Like, it's hard. It's hard to play against this team.
Go on, Rashford.
United, close.
Let's see what he's trying to do.
Yeah, let's get a question, shall we? Let's get a question from TikTok. And Alex Herbert says, what Premier League club would Darwin Núñez suit best?
I'll take him.
You'd have a bit. You might need a 9, Sophie. You might need a 9. Look, a very, very direct runner.
So,
a very, very direct footballer. There are, United probably under Rangnick would love him, but ultimately.
Could you see him at Chelsea, obviously, with the whole Lukaku situation?
No,
it doesn't
probably
seem,
not.
Just because Lukaku doesn't seem 100% happy, does he, at the moment?
Oh no, absolutely not.
And I was thinking if Chelsea are in the market for a striker, do you think they could potentially be looking at him? I can't see it, but I wouldn't mind them.
I think it's a lot of pressure for him.
I'm blaming them, sorry.
Like you've seen the players that have gone into Chelsea in the last couple of years and worn that 9 shirt, and not many have succeeded. Not many have thrived.
Isn't it?
But you look at someone that's that young and still that raw, and I think maybe a little bit of a step too high to begin with.
Newcastle, you never know what they're going to do there in terms of the money.
There was links with West Ham.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he'd be perfect kind of player to be a Mikel Antonio long term.
He's a very David Moyes striker, but depending on where they finish, he might be looking to aim a bit higher than that. I mean, the man is playing a Champions League round of 16 game right now.
Yeah.
Let's give him his credit. Benfica just create a little bit of a chance.
We had a slight glimpse there. Pogba with a great switch to Bruno, tries to bring down his chest. Defender got back in and got a foot in just before he got his shot away, but a bit more promising. A great pass, and then Lindelof stops the counter attack there, conceding the foul. I'm not sure he's been booked for that.
Didn't look like it.
I don't think so. This pass from
that
Pogba.
is a lovely ball from Pogba.
It's pinpoint.
Yeah, Vezalka as well.
Yeah. Touch just it comes back off his thigh, doesn't it?
Let's take a little look at Darwin's stats, shall we? Would you take that at United, Sophie? 23 and 28.
I'm just desperate. I think, to be honest with you, I just want somebody who just runs.
He runs.
Like, it feels like he's so static. Do you know what I mean?
He'll run.
Well, Rashford.
He scored a goal every 75 minutes in Portugal. Now I know that Primeiro isn't always the best, stat to use, but he feels like the kind of player.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Dusan. Controlled the first one, lovely, but that one not so much. Ajax, big chance.
Takes a bit of deflection, actually.
Big chance for Ajax there. Is it? 𝗟𝗏 actually is the one who basically escapes into the channel. He is just about onside. Nice little no-look pass. I think it is from Tadic himself. And 𝗟𝗏 escapes down the side and he sort of fishes it round the defender, lays it back across to the edge of the box, and Tadic tries to guide it into the far corner from 18 yards. He just gets it a bit wrong.
He looked like he tried to open his foot up and just put it into that corner, didn't he? He was a bit too clever with it.
We're all human. He's trying to guide it too much, isn't he? And it's just not quite happened.
Lindelof getting a good tackle.
Wow, that's a knee tackle.
Yeah.
He's gone knees
He's
first.
taking no prisoners there, Lindelof.
Oh dear.
Come on, Sancho, 1v1.
Yeah, that's what you want in that area.
Oh no, Pogba,
overplaying.
No. I mean, but there's also that element that you can't see Correa coming in from there because he just comes from nowhere.
Oh, great tackle that. That's handball.
Yeah. Simeone's not happy.
You can't just pick the ball up because you lost it.
I thought it was a foul, to be honest, but oh god.
Why is Rashford shooting from there? Decision making is just not good enough.
That's unfortunate. I thought it was a foul.
I'm saying that if that flies in top corner, we're saying what a decision from Rashford to take a
he gets a chunk of the ball.
He does get a chunk of the ball, I think.
It looked good to me. And then he just picks the ball up because he thinks it's a foul.
Yeah.
Like when it's your ball at school and you're going home because you're not playing well. Very similar.
I've never had that. I'm joking.
I'm speaking about others, you know. So
yeah, it was back to it. We never even answered the question. We didn't find out where Darwin was going.
Well,
we haven't given Darwin to anyone.
So he's fast-paced. He's athletic. I don't think I'd put him in a slower build-up system. I tell you what, that's how you score against Ajax. They haven't quite done it, but multiple deflections might help.
Benfica have got promising going forwards, though.
Yeah. It's actually come off Rafa, I think, in the end. Everton's taken a bit of a swipe at it from 18 yards, and it's come off either Blind or Rafa Silva, and it's flashed wide of the opposite post. Pasveer is committed the other way. It must come off Blind. It's a corner. Benfica swing that in. Vertonghen at back there, just trying his best to get to that ball.
Everton's been quite good tonight.
He's been bright.
He kind of flattered to deceive a little bit when he came over first. It didn't quite all go his way, but he seems to have livened up of late.
He's been pretty lively over the course of this game. It's not been easy for Benfica players to get their foot on the ball regularly and start to find their rhythm, but they have managed to get the ball to Everton a fair bit over on the left-hand side. He's been able to drop in and receive defeat and sort of turn and go. And as he started to get into his groove, he has actually given Ajax a couple of problems. Hasn't really made the breakthrough, so to speak, and the final decision hasn't quite been there. But he's showing signs of life, which is more than you can really say about quite a lot of them, to be honest with you. He and 𝗟𝗏 have been pretty good.
Nice little flick that.
Yeah. There we go. 𝗪𝗁𝗏 now back
Back
down.
post.
Thinking it.
Ooh,
Is that a corner? Is that a defensive header?
It feels like a corner.
I think that's a defensive header. That's very nice. 𝗪𝗁𝗏 down the right, back post cross again. Slightly different to the 𝗟𝗏𝗃 scenario, a bit further back. 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 tries to basically nod it back across into 𝗟𝗏's path. And it's 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 who sort of comes in behind and gets rid of it. It's good defending that.
Yeah,
Read that very, very well. 𝗟𝗏 probably thought he was in for that.
We're struggling to play between the lines.
You are, but
Still,
you have got more
we've
of the
got
ball
better.
and you're in their half, which is something. I was just thinking about, we've talked about Atleti being
Good play.
all over
That's
the
more
place,
like
really good from United. And then it gets to Lindelof from there. But if you look at the fact that Atleti have only failed to score in 4 games this season in La Liga, perhaps, whilst they have been a bit all over the place, it's not too ridiculous to think they could have scored. And especially with the team they got out here, this is kind of where we're at. You're looking for it. I'd love to see that for how many they've conceded in as well, which I'd imagine is also probably quite high.
We've just had a scenario here when Benfica have broken from an Ajax attack. 𝗟𝗏 gets the ball on the halfway line and he's one-on-one with 𝗪𝗁𝗏 and he tries to take a big touch beyond him to try and run around him. And it gets stuck between 𝗪𝗁𝗏's legs and he manages to just about get away with it. But that was potentially seriously dangerous. If 𝗟𝗏's got 40 yards to run into and he can take that big touch and run onto it, you're in trouble.
Might be.
He got away with it. But Benfica might be in trouble here. Slightly heavy touch.
Lindelof
just ahead of him.
Look, 𝗟𝗏 has just picked that pass there. He's found the show. This is his pass map here. It does feel like he's running it down that flank.
Oh, yeah.
And they are the kind of moments you get where you're like, okay, cool, thanks very much. That's it's a lovely touch. And there, he picks the ball up in the middle. He drifts in off the wing and plays in 𝗟𝗏𝗃. And it's just that, ability to find space between the lines. That ability, so you're talking about United failing to find pretty much every time they get into Atleti's half.
Honestly, 𝗟𝗏𝗃 is basically playing more left wing than 𝗟𝗏𝗃. I mean, off the ball, 𝗟𝗏𝗃 is a left winger, but the runs that 𝗟𝗏𝗃 is making from in to out, and 𝗟𝗏𝗃 dropping in to try and find them, and the overloads they're creating on that left-hand side. And I mean, the longest run with the ball that Ajax have had in this entire game, it was 𝗟𝗏𝗃 down the left for like 40 yards, and he ran literally down the touchline.
In a straight line.
In a dead straight line down the white line. It's an interesting dynamic to the attack that Benfica haven't really got a hold of, and they're on the attack. They're on the attack
watching
again.
This game and the excitement and all the attacking play, and this one is constant foul after foul after foul at the minute. So stop-start.
It's a card after
I mean,
card
look,
after card.
Benfica are charging
Suarez
towards
as
goal.
well.
This is a shot. Oh, Rafa, no! Oh, that was it. He is a centimetre away from converting that.
Oh, that's the right board as well.
That's the right ball. I thought he'd shot.
I
thought he'd shot, and he's
Maybe
whipped
he
it
did.
across goal. Rafa's stolen in down the right-hand side. He's done well to stay ahead of Alvarez. He's whipped it across the face between the defender and the goalkeeper. Lisandro Martinez is trying to cover,
Careless
but
again.
it's for 𝗟𝗏 to tap home, and he must be so close. Oh.
Lindelof on a booking.
𝗟𝗏, unlucky.
That's a worry with the fact that he's now got
And he's marking
3 players running at him. Well, he's got
Yeah.
Lodi running at him. He's got Felix going overloads down there. That's when you start to worry about a player going because we spoke about 𝗪𝗁𝗏 having Everton running at him in this game, but that's an overload going on there. And you know what? He's not lucky because he actually defends this quite well, but one little flick there and you're gone. Good night. See you later. And that's someone in behind him
This
again.
game does have a feel of a red card in it. Like, it's been very snappy. Like I say, very stop-start. A lot of people finding challenges, just trying to stop the other one from attacking, basically. And it does have a feeling, certain games have a feeling where you think there's going to be a red card in this game. This is one of them games. And to who? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows which way it'll go? Probably both. Probably both. Make sure you send in your questions on social using the hashtag LiveScore Watchalong. It's all kicking off here. There's a lot going on.
We've tried to take the free kick quick and the ref stopped us, that's why.
To be fair, you could probably do it just swinging it in.
There's no one in the box anyway right now, so don't know why we were playing it quick in the first place.
If you've got 3 centre-backs on, get them all in the box for
Yeah.
things like this.
Ooh! Flash that one wide. Darwin is hunting for this goal. He's just flashed one just wide, curling effort, but a lot of power on it as well. Probably 25 yards out. Really wraps his foot around that. Pasveer sort of starts off thinking, nah, it's going miles wide. And as he pulls his hand away, like goalkeepers do, to think, nah, it's okay, he looks behind him and goes, hang on a minute.
That was close.
Hang on a minute.
I mean, look, we haven't seen that much of him shooting from outside the box, right?
Nope.
What we're seeing there is the evolution of Darwin.
Hey.
Sorry.
Don't speak to him for
Have you been
5 minutes.
practicing that all week?
I've been thinking about it. Roman 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲𝗪𝗁 on, son. This is exciting. Roman 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲𝗪 was my player to watch in the Euros this summer. So
Yeah.
he didn't quite live up to that, but he did make a big move to Benfica and started really well. And then from that point, kind of it's just with the new manager coming in, it hasn't quite ticked on.
Bruno flings it in.
Ooh, that was a
Good
good
delivery.
set-piece delivery,
Oh,
that.
Sancho with a volley.
So we'll see how Benfica changed on that one. Everton's come off and 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲𝗪𝗁 has come on. 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲𝗪𝗁 will definitely be playing up front. He can't play any other position.
No.
Assuming here that Darwin
Goes
moves
wide,
over
yeah.
to the left-hand side, but we'll have a look.
Just careless
I
again
would
from
imagine
Rashford.
too. But also that means that Darwin is now running directly at Mazraoui,
Yeah,
which is probably what you're looking for.
probably,
really, isn't it?
yeah. I think he's in the mood. And Mazraoui's on a booking.
Another booking as well for Rashford.
There were lots
Concedes
of
it in a really
cars.
stupid place, Rashford. He's trying to beat the man. He loses it and that leaves Atletico on the counter-attack. He had to foul him, he had to bring him down. It's a clever one. But again, just carelessness on the ball in the first place.
It's, yeah. I mean,
Ajax are attacking again. Every time I look up, it's a different
it's
attack
real,
building.
It's great
real
fun.
all over the place.
been
It's a
great
great,
fun.
it's a great tie.
Yeah, that was good.
So we were.
Matic is coming on.
Yeah, I was going to
That's a
say
great
this
ball.
is the
Him-
first half, and Wan-Bissaka. So you'd imagine
that
that's
onside?
for what Lindelof, one of them.
There you
Fred-
go.
And
maybe?
Tellers, triple sub.
Tell us
Triple
okay.
sub.
Wow. That's very exciting,
Unless he's
isn't
going
it?
for wing backs.
Oh, he very much could do. Although
So-
you'd probably say you'd leave Lindelof off on a card.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, he's unlucky.
Mazraoui steals in behind. Lovely ghosting run into the box. Takes it down, shoots. It hits a defender, the goalkeeper bounces back and hits Mazraoui and goes out for a goal kick. I mean,
Triple sub.
goodness me, that was close.
It's
That's such a clear sight. That's a clear sight goal from
Yeah,
4
Lindelof's
yards.
off.
Lindelof for
For
Wan-Bissaka,
Wan-Bissaka.
so the shape stays the same in that regard. It's all very exciting, this.
Fred Matic?
Matic
Pogba?
for Pogba.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
Well, look, you look at how United have been attacking it.
Is that even more on the right?
It's
now?
all down the right. So it should maybe suggested that Dalot rather than Wan-Bissaka would have been the one you would have gone for there. But you can completely understand how those overloads are going and the way that
Short
João
for
Felix
Telles.
is playing. You'd maybe say that he's just a little bit more defensively sound. Like you say, it's about not letting this tie fall out of your grasp completely, right? And
Maybe this is where Wan-Bissaka's attacking side shows.
perhaps
flourishes.
he
the
once
biggest
used to be a
stage.
winger, didn't they? Is that what they always say? Used to
Hear
be a
him
winger
hope,
once.
the hopeful
Wow.
voice.
If you wish it hard enough, it will come into
We
existence.
shall see. Haven't won the lottery yet, so I don't think that he works like that. But yeah.
Is that just straight out of play?
Yeah.
That's really bad. This isn't any cutting edge commentary, but it just is really poor.
There's not a lot to comment on. It's just been so disappointing, so careless.
So what was it, Tellez?
Tellez for sure, Wan-Bissaka for Dalot, and Matic for Pogba.
The shape is exactly the same, you'd think.
Matic and Fred in that middle, which has been horrendous when we've done that in the past, to be honest. 2 left foot midfielders, but Matic might give us a bit more control on the ball in there. He's experienced at doing that. To be fair,
He's
striding
charging
forward
through
there,
the
yeah.
he's charging through the flanks,
Wan-Bissaka doing what Wan-Bissaka does best. Flying
winning
into
tackles on
challenge.
the floor.
I call him Inspector Gadget because his legs just seem to extend. I
They
don't know,
used to
does
call
he?
him, what was his nickname for a while?
Spider.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of hit it and hope. It just feels that when Atleti hit it and hope, they tend to be aiming it at one of their players.
Yeah.
Whereas when United hit it and hope, it tends to just end up with an Atleti centre-back.
Exactly.
Adel
Absolute
Tarat's
no-man's
just
land.
done an absolute Adel Tarat run.
Oh! I
Managed to
mean,
cross in as well.
initially, he did about 6 step overs. The first 4 didn't fool anybody, but then he managed to weasel his way around Gravenberch, surge into the box, and cause a bit of carnage with a really dangerous ball. I mean, that was... They just showed a slow-mo of Erik ten Hag.
Oh,
Hang on a minute. What a block that is. They just showed a slow-mo of Erik ten Hag doing this.
Where's the sideways passing gone,
Like
Sam?
that. Wow.
I actually feel like they need to keep this thing out of this because
this has been the end-to-end 20 minutes that we all dreamed
we all
of.
wanted.
This has been absolutely.
Unless you're an Ajax fan.
Yeah, Erik ten Hag is not happy. He's not happy at all.
Pogba's also not happy.
I'm delighted.
Just show clips of Pogba on the bench. He's not happy with being brought off. He's disappointed.
Well, you need to stop giving the ball away.
Exactly.
In which case,
To be fair, Bruno's been just as guilty for that.
Oh!
He's gone down there. Is that a
He has
penalty?
gone down. Ref is saying
He's checking
he
it.
doesn't know. He's basically immediately gone, I'll have a look on VAR.
in which case, surely you let the play continue. What if he says no? Then there's just like they've just lost the ball in the box.
I
Has
cannot
he
tell.
It looked to me like he went to get the
I
ball and
cannot
then
tell
hit
you
the
what he's given
defender.
there.
But
Ooh.
this is an interesting one.
It's Gonzalo Ramos on the floor. He's been fouled. He thinks
Matty's
he has.
warming up.
Right, here's a slow-mo. Ball into the box or corner.
Soft one for me.
Yeah, he's all like, there's a lot of contact,
Yeah.
but there's not also at the same time, it doesn't really do anything. I think Ramos is just kind of, hang
No,
on.
I don't think so.
It's difficult with these angles.
I think they'll give this.
I think they will, but for me, that's.
Then
again, he kind of stood on him.
It's down his leg.
It's the
into
second
it. I think
motion,
that's.
isn't
I
it?
think they're going to give that as a penalty.
I
Here
think
we
they'll give it as
go.
well.
I'd expect that to be
Oh,
given.
no,
Is he not giving
They
it?
haven't given it, I don't think. I thought it would be a soft one. No, he's not giving it.
Well, probably the right
You've seen them
decision.
give
Well,
it, though.
𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 is very
Seen
annoyed.
him give it.
Benfica coach, he can't believe it, and I'm kind of with him. Like, there's a bit of studs dragged down the back of someone's leg there, and it ends up in the boot. There's a dragging motion. It's not malicious. It's almost like he gets his feet caught,
Right.
but
Yeah.
he's still done it from behind, and Ramos is on the ball, and it's in the box.
I'm not completely convinced that's a pen. I'll be honest. I think for me it's a no.
Ref agrees.
I thought the ref would give it.
Yeah,
That
because
would
it was
have
a
been
Seen
penalty.
them giving,
yeah.
That would be my takeaway. There's another argument in Madrid, Sophie.
Ronaldo
look,
there yet again.
There
I don't know
are
what
reasons to
happened
be optimistic. Atleti don't keep clean sheets away from home, so there's that. You know, they've won clean sheet in 13 away games in La Liga this season. That's reasons to be cheerful, unless they score again, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'd feel cheerful if we actually looked like scoring, but it's crazy time. I mean, Atletico are on the attack now. Good block from 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲.
Yeah, another corner. That's a lot of corners.
We've had a lot more ball in this half, but we still haven't really gone anywhere with it.
Yeah.
Let's see
Slow
if
and
these
steady.
changes make a difference.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's it.
Griezmann's
Freshen it
warming
up. Keep things ticking. No changes so far in your game, Sam?
Just the one, 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 on for Everton.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But nothing from Ajax, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe they take a look at that, because so far in the last 8 minutes or
Benfica
so,
look good.
they have been completely unable to stop Benfica running straight through them. Oh! Okay.
On the other hand, 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 has just tried a bicycle kick from sort
Oh, I
of a
missed that.
bizarre
I was just getting
angle.
sucked
So
into
I
that.
got you.
Look at this.
This-
What a pass that was.
Rafa is emerging as the absolute star of this second half. Oh, they've stopped the replay. Never
I
mind.
need to focus on my game anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
You
Let's
missed,
do
you
it.
missed 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲
too much excitement
really,
in this
really mess up a bicycle
Oh, was it
kick.
really messed up? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was really bad.
I looked up and saw the
So-
Atletico players were running away in like a group. I thought they'd scored again. My heart sank. Looking now, they were just retreating from the bad bicycle
Everyone
kick.
was just legging.
Yeah.
No, it was a bad bicycle kick. Very, very poor. It came out from the corner. Llorente headed it over towards 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 in acres of space, and he decided he was going to go for the spectacular and completely missed the ball. Really, yeah, really not ideal, really.
An air shot. Never mind.
But alas.
Well, we had a big chance over here. Rafa Silva now on the counter.
Is this it?
This is it. Feeds the ball through into 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲, who is
beating
trying to
the
chip it
keeper,
around the
but-
goalkeeper. I think he's trying to take it over and around the goalkeeper. And there is it 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲 or is it 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲?
It's you in Timber.
It's Timber with another miraculous piece of recovery defending there. He tracks it the whole way, steps around the goalkeeper, and then just kicks it clear from about 3 or 4 yards. He's had a really good game.
I was going to say 20 minutes to go. We've got any team of the week contenders here. Obviously got the games from yesterday.
Urian Timber without a shadow of a doubt.
We've talked about a lot.
The whole point of this notebook is to put pluses and minuses next to people's names when they do good and bad things.
Felix for his header needs a shape.
Oh, what ball that is from João Felix.
And the
Can they pick someone out?
That's a ball.
No. That might be.
No, get up. No, not having that. Come on, Timber.
Urian Timber's now after a penalty. And Benfica are back on the break.
This is the whole second up. Rafa Silva just running 40, 50 yards, laying it on the plate for certain people as well. Ramos has hit it. Oh! It's in!
Goal!
Is it? I mean, 𝗟𝗋 has followed it in after an absolute stinger of a shot from Gonzalo Ramos.
I was like, why is he not celebrating?
He was stuck.
Bizarre.
He was literally stuck. He couldn't celebrate.
What goal?
What a goal.
But to be fair, Gonzalo Ramos has made the complete wrong decision not sliding Darwin in. Instead, I know they've scored.
Darwin available on the left, but look, is what it is.
Is this a corner? Like, Fred's just complaining, sorry, that this was a corner. I mean, a goal kick, but a corner was given. It's just been booked for it. Watching the replay, I'm not 100% that he wasn't right, to be fair. It looked like he came back off the Atletico man. If we can see from this corner.
If you can see from this corner, there's drama. Let's get back to this goal.
The Ajax.
Whoa, hang on, imagine.
Penalty appeal, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing there. He's good.
Nothing like that. Otamendi with a light touch. Rafa Silva drives 40, 50 yards, plays it centre, big space for Ramos to hit it, and he hits it well.
What's Pasveer doing?
Needs to be better there.
The problem is the keeper's just sort of parried it straight back into that danger area. It looked like a really good save because optical illusion. I thought it was going to go wide. 𝗟𝗋, striker's instinct, follows it in. I think it's 𝗟𝗃 that's tracking him all the way back, and he gets in there, and then he gets stuck in the goal net, so we can't celebrate.
They've now conceded more goals in the Champions League than the Eredivisie, Ajax. How about that for a season stat?
Okay.
How about that for a season? 7 goals, and they've conceded 6 goals.
Yeah.
7 games, 6 goals.
Elanga's just come on for Rashford, and now Lamar and Griezmann are due to come on as well. Great times.
So Grizzy on to João Felix. You're like, all right, cool, no problem. We'll just bring Antoine Griezmann on.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I see you, Elanga.
Atleti are literally going for it. They brought off Renan Lodi to bring Lamar on. It's all very exciting.
Ajax are bringing on 𝗟𝗋 for Blind. Is that as exciting?
That's probably we're going for it a bit as well, isn't it? To be honest, that's a bit of a move it forward left back. Benfica's
well, I mean, I think the main problem here is that Rafa.
What are they checking here?
Rafa Silva is just like running this flank up and down, and I'm guessing that Blind's. Well, he's not the most physically blessed player in the world, is he? So they're looking to try and match up pace v pace. 27 there, Rafa on the right is just driving and driving. He's already made like 2 or 3 clear-cut chances for people, and that one that just skimmed past Darwin Núñez's boot. It's been a massive problem for Ajax. If anything, Erik ten Hag has reacted quite late here. 25 minutes this has been happening, and he waits until the goal is conceded before changing something over there. You've got options, obviously. You don't have to replace the player. You could move different players into that area.
Yeah.
Is that a booking?
But
𝗟𝗋 has just has had the most. Oh, also Davy Klaassen has come on to calm things down a bit from Gravenberg.
Yeah.
This is frantic.
You enjoying yourself,
That
Jack?
is a proper cup tie, that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself a lot.
Yeah.
𝗟𝗋's been booked for his celebration, I think.
He took his t-shirt off.
Yeah, that'll be that. Llorente's booked.
Just
This game's had more cards than excitement. This game's had loads of both.
This has just been very stop-start, this has, but I think you always expect that playing Atletico. They're going to obviously rumble you and not let you play your usual way. Wan-Bissaka's shown his attacking strength, his prowess.
He's actually done well there.
He has. Oh, Fred.
That's a foul.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
That's a foul.
I think he got lucky
and the
there.
entire Atletico team disagree.
Everyone's gone mad.
And here's Benfica down this side again.
Benfica fancy this, you know.
Oh yeah, they found the weak spot and they're pushing it. Every time they get the ball, they stick it straight in that channel. Amazingly, the game plan has moved away from Darwin, who for 60 minutes looked like the #1 way to break through, and now it's Rafa Silva playing in that right-hand side on the other side. They've done exactly what Ajax did. 20 minutes down the right and then flick it over to the left, but inverse.
Let's look at this free kick. Big chance. Who takes it?
Tellez is over it. To be fair, Tellez camping.
Tellez
got a good left
whip
foot.
a ball. Obviously, you know the answer,
Ronaldo
right? You know
wants it. Yeah.
So Ronaldo wants it, so Ronaldo will have it.
He hasn't really. With his free kicks at United, he hasn't
but
really
it does suit the left foot.
Consistent, has
It does suit the left footer.
Suits a lefty.
It does suit a lefty, yeah. But Fred can also take them, to be fair. He's not stood over it, though.
It's a little bit far out for Fred, I think. Is Darwin in here? Yes.
Kinda. He's been forced wide. Mazzari's done okay with him, but he's got the yard of pace. Oh, and it's Timber again.
Good defending.
Timber. Clearing the ball as it enters the 6-yard box. Nice low cross there from Darwin, who's just causing havoc again. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 𝗟𝗋𝗃𝗲 easy finish from 3 yards if Timber's not there in the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, Ronaldo.
It does look like it's
I'd
going to be
love
Cristiano.
him to score against Atletico now.
He has
Especially
record for
after
it.
how irate he's been all game. He's obviously been very frustrated.
Here it is.
Move away from him. Is that Correa? Mind
it's
games.
Correa, yeah.
The second wall is interesting. I'm always intrigued by a second wall.
Come on.
Oh.
Too much on it.
Over the top.
Too much on it. Still got time. He's still got time to
Yeah.
score, but
Just
Yeah.
felt like it favoured the left peg.
yeah, it did. Harry Maguire doing that little shimmy in the wall.
Isn't that a bit close for that up and down?
It's hard
Yeah,
to
Don't
get
you want to
it
go
all
around the
set.
wall there?
I think so.
Far be it for me to question the man's free kicks, but that's
going on here?
tough. That's very tough to get up and down.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Jimenez
Another yellow?
for complaining.
Descent, yeah.
Liverpool have won 6-0 by the way.
Whoa!
Nothing major.
Okay.
Just a typical
Quiet
Leeds
6-0.
game, yeah.
Yeah, nothing
Oh, well.
nothing going on.
Goal difference is better than Man City now.
Their goal difference is now 4 better than Man City's. That's quite a lot as well. Still 3 points behind, mind. Still 3 points behind.
Yeah.
United seem to have
Oh,
found
good
a
play.
lease of life
This
here.
is interesting.
Have they?
Sounds like.
Sancho's in. Oh,
Oh, hello!
Elanga's in.
Elanga, take your time. No.
Yes, let's
Yes! Get in! Elanga! Get in! Yes! I love this kid, man. Get in! Told you we'd bring him on. I told you we'd bring him on. Yes!
Don't point at me!
Elanga is the answer.
Elanga is the truth. The answer is the truth.
Rhythm is a dancer.
Yeah, Anthony Elanga. I love it.
That was.
That's a
I
really
thought
cool
he'd taken
really
it too
goal
early.
finish.
I was like, take a touch, and he just already took the shot. But maybe that's what he's planning. Just take
Well,
it
yeah,
early.
it's hit it early, hit it low.
Yeah.
You tend to score. Are Benfica in again?
Can I just say that Ajax are wobbling?
Oh yeah.
They are wobbling.
Bruno with the assist again, just about. He took it really early, but to
really
be fair,
early, but so
good
early that
finish.
Oblak
Yeah,
had
there's
no
a
idea.
lot.
Caught him by
There's a lot
surprise,
wrong
yeah.
here. Oblak's all over the place. Positioning isn't great. The defensive attempt at a block is
yeah. I think
disaster.
Oblak's probably expecting him to take a touch there, though. To be fair to him, like it's
He
probably
does
caught him off
really
guard.
well.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same.
Snapshot.
It's obviously not on the same angle, but it's a very similar strike to what Dusan Vlahovic did yesterday in the first minute against Villarreal. Very similar angle. That's
Yeah, similar. It is
No,
similar.
Lingard's coming on. Sancho.
Lingard.
A bit more energy though. To be fair, Sancho hasn't had a lot of it this evening.
That was a really good ball.
Really
Yeah.
good ball. Yeah.
Really good ball.
Get in. No, this
They
is looking
are.
a lot more promising now.
And they don't keep clean sheets away from home. We've already discussed.
No.
Now the tie is in United's favour. And that is desperate. That's what United
To
have
be
been doing
fair,
all game.
second half, I said to you guys that we kept it a bit better, but we haven't really done anything with it.
That's a
But
great
what we
challenge.
have done is nullified them.
That's a great ball.
Atletico haven't really done a lot
Oh,
in this second
Sebastian.
half.
Yeah. It's felt very
It's been very
attritional.
scrappy.
Yeah.
Alex just whacked one over from a great position, harmlessly so. Clarkson dove in, retrieved the ball on the counter press, strode forward, played Allaire in. He had options. He could hold it up. He could check back. He could shoot. He could pass. No, he didn't take the right option. Slammed it straight over harmlessly. Bit of a tired swipe, that one.
Yeah, it did feel a bit
I've
like
just
that.
realised my
I mean-
scores, my predictions don't look wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mine is too. Mine is too.
Yeah. Tough times.
Yeah,
It's clean.
tough times at the OK Crowd. Sam, how much of a difference has 𝗟𝗋𝗃𝗲𝗏 made? Because obviously he scored, but you know it feels like he's been sort of. It feels like a decoy runner a lot of the time, and he's been that kind of man in the middle while Rafa has been able to pick out other players. It feels like he's
given
shifted the momentum a little bit.
What I would say, without him being totally involved on the ball in terms of touches, I think he's given Benfica's team a bit more of an obvious structure and simplified everyone's player roles. Because when he was not on the pitch and it was Darwin and Ramos up front, and it was Everton and Rafa on the flanks. Everton and Rafa did a little bit of swapping around fine, but Darwin and Ramos were sort of running left, running right. They were swapping and moving channels. They were dropping in and taking it in turns. And sometimes they genuinely, because of the fact that those two players were doing that, they actually didn't play with any strikers at all. They had no real presence in the centre of the pitch. They actually haven't played the ball up to 𝗟𝗋𝗃𝗲 very much in terms of him holding up the ball, and they haven't played it to his feet very much. But what he has done is just run through the centre, and it has simplified everybody else's roles. Darwin on the left, Rafa on the right, Ramos dropping in and playing in this space just by 𝗟𝗋𝗃𝗲.
Yeah.
It's been a bit more clear-cut in terms of a strategy. I think everybody is kind of, they know exactly which runs they're supposed to be making, which area of the pitch they're supposed to be in, and you're seeing it again right here, and it has made a big impact, I have to say, not just the goal, but the impact he's made on the structure of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. To pivot back to Madrid, can United smell blood here, do you think, Sophie, or is this take the one all and get out? Because Atleti's home form has been far weaker than it has been in many a year before this.
I'll be honest, I'm much rather see us trying to attack than just sitting and trying to defend and see this through now, because I don't trust us defensively. But I think it's a case of us just keep doing what we were doing. Like I say, I think we've unsettled them in this second half. We've kept the ball a bit better, but we weren't really looking like we were going anywhere up until that point with the goal. But yeah, we're just keeping Atletico at bay and just slowly growing more and more into the game. And I think it'd be a case of keep it the same. I don't think we'll go too defensive as in sit in and try and defend it, because we can't, quite frankly. I think it'd be a case of just try and keep on the ball, try and see this game through. We'll be happy with a draw. I said beforehand I'll be happy with a draw. Of course a win is always nice, but especially from a losing position so early in the game, this could have been a lot worse for us tonight. So if we can hold out now, I think all in all it'd be a very decent result.
Also, it's the first real clear-cut chance that United have created.
Yeah.
And you scored from it, right? That's a good form. I mean, we can see what Anthony Elanga's been up to. Is since he's come on, 2 touches, 1 goal.
Efficient.
That's a bit like Lukaku's game the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, over 90, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But 2 touches and a goal. Well, that's what it is. There hasn't been many opportunities to get people in behind to change things up. But when he does get that opportunity, to keep that cool head at that young age, it is very, very impressive.
Yeah, I love Elanga, to be fair. I think the way that he's broke onto the scene. Obviously got hit by a coin the other day against Leeds and then going on to score afterwards. You just love that kind of revenge story, do you know what I mean?
He shushed the crowd as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And he pointed to the badge and pointed to the ground, and I think he was trying to say that you're going down to Leeds. But yeah, I liked him even more for that. No, he just gets it. He gets it. And you mentioned there, you get one big chance in a game of this magnitude, you have to take it. The young lad steps up and thankfully he's taken that chance, and yeah, hopefully we can keep on now. I was laughing at Matic just because obviously Atletico all game have been winding us up, rolling around the floor, breaking up the play. Matic just broke up the counter-attack by handballing it, intercepting it, and then shortly after, when the ref turns around, just toe-poking the ball out of sight as well. Just using his experience even more, and Simeone was going out his mind. He was going out his mind, yeah.
Should be off.
Martinelli is at home fuming, Martinelli.
Is that it? Varane's come on to try and shore things up. He's having his moment to try and shore things up. Bruno, though, that assist means that he is the first player in Champions League history to assist in 6 consecutive appearances whilst playing for an English club. David Beckham did 5.
Oh! Shit, the bar. Thought that was in.
Wow.
This is why we can't try and hire him, because we just can't.
Very, very stressful.
That was unlucky. It was nearly a very good finish. Griezmann, I think it was.
Did look a wee bit
his turn
off.
did too easy there. I'm sorry, Bruno Fernandes, I think he's an outstanding footballer. I think he can be a bit frustrating at times because he's always trying to play that
killer pass.
Yeah, that killer pass, and sometimes you just want him to keep it simple, especially when you haven't got much of the ball. But yeah, he's an incredible player, and I love the impact that he had when he came to United. Firstly, it's just incredible.
Well, that's it. You build a team around him.
For me, he's our captain. He's our future captain. That's who I see long run having the armband at United, because he just seems to get it.
I've got an exciting sub to report in Benfica Ajax.
Go on.
Do you want it?
Yeah, go on then.
It's Paulo Bernardo has come on for 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗲 in midfield.
Is it another academy prospect?
It's an academy player.
That's okay.
That's
How many academy products have we had on the pitch then tonight?
So Benfica currently have Gonçalo Ramos and Paulo Bernardo. The only other one in their squad is Gonçalves, the right back, but he's not playing. Ajax have used Blind, 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗲𝗪, and Klaas.
Oh, where's Ricardo?
No.
He's gone.
Yeah.
100%.
He's gone. And Anthony's
Just headbutted Darwin.
It was a headbutt. Like,
their heads were together.
Yeah, one of those.
But you still, if you do that, you go down. Yeah, but absolutely.
You can't do that.
You have to play on it. You have to be like, yeah, thank you very much, good night. You've just lost your head and lost yourself your best wide player in a second half. See ya.
5 minutes to go as well.
Let's have a look. Darwin's on the floor clutching.
The only thing is that Darwin could get sent off as well, because that's probably a second bookable.
That's very true. He pulls his shirt there. He hits him. They don't like each other very much at all. They go head to head.
See, he pushes towards him.
Oh, yeah, it's a little push, but then
I
think Darwin plays on that little hand from Klaassen as well.
I hope they can resolve it, because
Anthony gets the yellow. That's a little bit fortunate, but
very fortunate.
Okay, you can stomach it.
Oh, because Darwin probably should have been sent off for a second yellow too. Either. So you could go, there's no sending offs.
That was a bit silly, wasn't it?
It was a bit silly from everyone involved.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that no one's been red carded.
Yeah. I agree. Me too.
Would have made the second leg considerably worse.
I don't want either of Darwin or Anthony, two of the most entertaining players on this pitch, to be missing any minutes. Thank you.
It's incredible as this stands at the moment. Both second leg ties are going to be proper nail biting, because they're literally on the edge, aren't they? Both games are on a knife edge, so it's going to be really interesting for the second legs.
Yeah,
it stays this way.
Lose it. I think they're going to kick the ball back. They're not. Anthony's just playing.
The ref told Anthony to play it back as a pass back, and Anthony was like, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah, he was like, "I should have won the ball." We were just speaking about Bruno Fernandes there before it all broke off. This is his pass map, including that assist. But that's the killer ball we were talking about. The fact that you can split a defence open like that, Sophie. And if you can do that, you've got to take those risks. And look, there are a lot of failed passes on there. But that's kind of okay if you're trying to break people open.
Exactly,
That's him as a player, isn't it?
Yeah.
High risk, high reward. Pass completion percentage is terrible. Doesn't matter. If you don't try, you don't score, right?
Yeah.
You need players like that. You need risk takers.
Yeah.
And I think the issue is in our squad we have so many who are inclined to play the safe pass, whereas Bruno stands out because he's the one who actually does try and make stuff happen. And sometimes he looks like he's forcing it. Like I say, you want him to just play it, keep it simple. But
what's a little run that is?
I love him.
What's a little run that is? We've got a 10
We've got 4 minutes added in this.
Very tense.
It's not relatively tense end to both. Obviously they're both now level. And without the away goals rule, we may as well just played one leg, am I right? But
Matic has gone down injured as well.
I think he's all right. I think he's doing his...
it's going to be fine.
I think he's doing his... let's have a little calm one, shall we? Let's cool this off. I'd
rather just see the time improve, but this is dragging it out even more. Matic, no, like, let's finish this first.
Don't forget to get your questions in using the hashtag LiveScore Watchalong. We'll get a few of them in before the end tonight, so make sure you're keeping an eye on them. Simeone is not happy. We are in right at the death of both of these games. Into injury time in Madrid, getting there.
89,
in Lisbon. After that, delays the second half because of mic packs.
Yeah, the ref lost his mic.
He
wasn't happy about it either.
Yeah, exactly. Sophie lost her mic. The ref lost his mic. We've all lost mics tonight. There you go.
Oh,
beautiful from Tellers.
Outstanding.
Oh,
no one in there though.
Elanga just made the wrong run. Not his fault. It was a guess, don't you? But
what?
Interesting. Oh, Fred had a reverse ball in there.
Tellers whip it.
Oh, is that a deflection?
What's that?
It's either a deflection or terrible.
Yeah. This is lovely.
Oh.
A really, really good little bit of skill.
That was a nice little...
Tellers has been good, actually. Come on and made a difference.
I love the way he kisses the ball before it's set piece.
Yeah.
It's so cute. It's our
I like this.
Please be a good one.
Please go in.
Please be a good one. Here's a good one.
Wasn't a bad one.
Well, considering the first 3 United corners of this game all didn't beat the first man.
Yeah.
Nice taken. Ball.
Come on, Ronaldo.
Wow. He really got up there, didn't he? He's kept that really alive.
You potentially just should have left it for your man behind him there.
That was always happening, wasn't it?
It seems hanging in the air, didn't it? Ronaldo, he's just ridiculous.
Lazaro on for Nunez.
Lazaro on for Nunez for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Good game, Darwin.
Very good game. Very impressive.
Good game. Right.
Remember the crowd.
There's another one asking for Darwin's shirt.
Remember the crowd.
The crowd adore him,
Yes.
so they say. Here's his heat map as well. He's been everywhere, Sam. Look at that for a display. A furious display.
They brought on their third academy product in the squad, Gonçalves.
There you go.
Diogo Gonçalves is on for Gilberto, who was okay. He started okay and then he got a bit worse.
That was very impressive.
That heat map was ridiculous.
Very Darwin.
Yeah, lots of ground covered.
He loves eating up ground.
He does. Ooh. That is an awkward cross to deal with. Vertonghen there has actually done pretty well to get across his man and deal with that.
The old guard at the back of the old back of the Benfica defence has done okay.
Yeah, they've done all right. They're really committed. Really committed. Very combative. Vertonghen and Otamendi have both. They've stretched and strained for every ball, and they've put their head in where it hurts multiple times. Ajax are now taking Mazraoui off. His run wrenches come on. Another academy product. Ring the bell. We got a bell for that yet?
Excited.
The notepad's out. Well done, mate. Make sure that's noted.
Wrench 91.
Yeah, there you go.
Crucial.
Well, yeah, it's a big appearance for him. Ooh. That was really good. I like a little dive on the floor to head the ball back to the keeper.
It's really unnecessary though. But yeah, effective.
It's worked. It's a good hit, this.
You know what, second half we've been much better. We've been more aggressive with our pressing.
Here we go. Oh!
We've done to Atletico what they've done to us in that first half. We've pressed them and we've not allowed them to play. You know what? Draw.
There you go. Full time
Not a bad
in
result.
Madrid. What's going on? We haven't finished quite yet. Is that Anthony?
That's Anthony.
The man who probably shouldn't be on the pitch.
Corner headed out to him.
Unbelievable goalkeeping from a man like 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Pace.
Hang on.
Oh, hello. Oh, no way. That is probably obstruction. The problem is he's not going to get to the ball.
The problem is he's always looking for it because he knows he's not going to get to the ball. So there's that element of it that you're like, what bit of it is obstruction, what bit of it is Rafa Silva legging it really hard into someone in order to try and get that decision.
You should know by now that if Jurriën Timber's off after the ball,
you're not getting anywhere near it.
He's getting the ball, 100%. We've got 1 minute 15 left in this game. It's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Is it
everything you wanted it to be, Sam?
No, because I wanted an Ajax win.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a minute left on this, my friend.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It is Ajax asking all the questions in the last 2 minutes of extra time for sure. So there might be something for them here. You don't know. Yeah. It would be a real shame for Benfica to lose this game.
You just told me you wanted Ajax to win.
No, but they don't deserve to lose after this second half. It'd be a shame for them.
You need to make up your mind. They're playing for a draw here.
It would be a massive shame for them to lose this game. They don't deserve to.
Will they fancy themselves going to Ajax, going to Amsterdam?
I mean, after
it's
this,
very difficult to fancy yourself going to Amsterdam.
After this second half salvo, I don't think they should be doubting themselves. Not a chance. We asked if they could rattle Ajax and if they could.
They fully rattled Ajax.
And for 20 minutes or so, they ran straight through them like a steam train. So yes, they can be got at. Yes, you can find ways through. Ten Hag was a little bit slow, but he made some changes in the last 10 minutes. Ajax have just kind of got back on top a little bit. So yeah, there are some weaknesses there, but
you'd imagine this is it. Both teams look like they're just going to see this out here.
Yeah.
Is Tagliafico going to swing one in? Yes, he is. Gets out to Haller.
Vertonghen clears that, and that would be that, I think.
That you'd imagine is probably that.
That's Lisandro Martinez back to Pasveer.
Ref.
Yeah, he's calling it now.
It's cool time. Full time.
2 draws.
2-2 and 1-1.
2 draws. Now, nobody called that, so nobody's back next week.
Oh, no. Well, there's no Champions League next week.
Yeah, there is. Indeed, there's no Champions League.
I'm not coming back for that. But
no, fantastic. I mean, look, let's go through these games, shall we? And let's start in Madrid. It ended first, so it seems only right. A little bit smash and grab, Sophie, but also felt like United were probably just about the better team second half.
Yeah, I think the second half we came out the blocks a bit sharper, a bit more aggressive. We pressed them, we gave them a bit of a taste of their own medicine. We disjointed them, made them a bit flustered, if you like. They didn't really create anything. Obviously, they had the Griezmann chance from the corner where he hit the bar. But other than that, I don't think they really did much in that second half. It was a bit of a smash and grab in terms of we didn't create a lot either. We had a lot more of the ball, but it wasn't really going anywhere until Elanga came on, super sub. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing, to be fair. I think that draw, considering we conceded so early on, I think it could have been a lot worse tonight, and we should be taking confidence from that going into the second leg. It's anyone's game still.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at the momentum for the game, and story of the match in terms of XG, still very much in Atleti's favour. But, you know, like we said during the game, you took the one chance that was presented up on a, you know, on a plate, and Elanga, it's a really good finish. He hits it early. And, you know, Oblak maybe should do a little bit better with it, but you get given those opportunities and you take them. That's what makes good sides, right? And that's key. It felt like United, especially second half, they won't look at that and go, "Oh, we've made a massive errors here." No. It was very combative, very attritional, like you say.
Yeah, definitely. I think we competed well with them physically. For a lot of bookings, a lot of people obviously making interceptions, preventing the counter-attacks, doing as much as we could to make them disjointed, to stop them being able to build their attacks. And I think in that second half it really paid off. We had that one chance, and luckily Elanga with the quality was able to take it as well. And Bruno with an assist, I'm always happy to see Bruno get an assist because I think he's quality. But I think we were kind of starved going forwards today, so for Elanga to come on and have the impact that he did as a sub, I think is quality. I'd like to see him start the next game, please.
Yeah, perhaps, very much so. I mean, when you have those moments, it's hard to turn it down. United now the first English team to score 500 goals in European Cup / UEFA Champions League history. It's a nice little milestone.
It is very nice, yes. Yeah. I'd rather have that one than the 140 corners without a goal. Rounded about, to be fair. Yeah, I prefer that.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the average positions from this game. It's better than what we saw at half-time. It feels like it feels a little bit more like there's a structure in place, although it's still relatively defensive.
Yeah, it was definitely defensive, no two ways about it. Ronaldo was very isolated up there. We were trying to get off to the likes of Rashford and Sancho around him, but because we were being penned back so much, our wingers were playing more like wing-backs, and now we're pinned back as well. But in the second half, we were just more aggressive. Elanga came on, was willing to run in behind, and you saw it straight away for his goal. Bruno obviously being able to find the pass as well. I just think we lacked that in the first half. Ronaldo isn't the type of player to run in behind, we know that. Elanga came on and immediately tried to stretch Atletico, and it paid off. It's just watching the replay now. Great pass from Bruno, timing was perfect. And as you've mentioned, he took the finish really early, a little bit of a snapshot. And I think that caught Oblak off guard, how early he took that.
Caught us off guard, didn't it? You shouted,
"Don't shoot!" That's the first time we saw it.
But yeah.
Let's look at the Atleti positions because they stay a slightly different story. It's high.
Look at Renan Lodi out there.
Renan Lodi out there. I mean, look, it says left wing back there. He kind of played as a left winger. I think it'd be a little bit unfair to suggest he was playing as a traditional wing back. It was very much two on top of each other. But look, he did a job. That's where the goal came from. It's where most of Atleti's attacking threat came from, especially in the first half, pushing down that left-hand side.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can look at it and think there'll be a little bit, you'd imagine on those kind of bits, they'll look at it and think, oh, we should have probably pushed onwards. But in terms of actual, you know, the way that the game swung, I don't think there was too much between the two sides.
Definitely not. No.
Okay, right, let's flip things over to the other game. And Sam, a frantic encounter, a furious encounter.
Just watching 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲 get man of the match. Not sure about that.
I would have probably given it to 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗪.
Yeah, Timber or Rafa Silva, or maybe even Darwin. Maybe 𝗟𝗏, because he scored both goals. That's quite the achievement.
I said Ajax did have 8 shots on target.
I mean, this was a wonderful game of football. It really was. It was a lot of fun. Ajax, first half, very strong, very composed. Take a 1-0 lead, take a 2-1 lead. Very, very good. Midfield is working, interchanges, overloads on the left, on the right. The right-sided combo, Mazraoui, Anthony is so good. Then they stick it down the left. They score the goal from 𝗟𝗏. Benfica can't really handle it. Second half, there's a rousing team talk in the tunnel for I think it's Julian Weigl, of all people. Julian Weigl.
In German.
Benfica come out, get 2 yellow cards in 3 minutes. You think, okay, they've misjudged this one. They've gone the wrong way. But they start to channel that aggression really quite well. They get the foothold. They eventually get this second goal in the second half. And for about a 20-minute period, they are running through Ajax's midfield in a way that I genuinely haven't seen a team do in years. Years and years. And Rafa Silva was absolutely amazing. 𝗟𝗏𝘃𝗃𝗲 came on and played a really big part in restructuring the attack. He allowed Gonçalo Ramos to come to life. Darwin off the left flank was very, very fierce. He's very unlucky not to get on the score sheet tonight. Benfica deserved this draw. Fully deserved this draw. The way they were able to fight back into this game and wrestle the momentum off Ajax and for 20 minutes really ruffle their feathers. Okay, they didn't really have the last 10 minutes. It was mostly all Ajax. They kind of shut the game down a bit. But to even get that much of the game against Ajax is a genuine achievement.
Yeah.
For a team that just aren't as good as them. They've done extremely well here.
Well, they went toe-to-toe, didn't they? And we can look at the XG timeline, and it's a lot more even than that of what we saw in the other game. But that kind of does... There is that shift of momentum, isn't there, up to the goal and then beyond it, that felt like Benfica had... wrested this into their favour, and that's cool.
It's really good. I mean, it's perseverance first and foremost, and it's a couple of players here, particularly 𝗟𝗏 𝗪𝗫, and Rafa Silva as well, who just wouldn't lie down. They wouldn't take no for an answer here, and they just wouldn't let themselves just be rolled over by Ajax as they started to try and take control of the ball. And I'm sure the home crowd played a part, roared them into advantage. About 75 minutes in, so roughly where that goal goes in, there was a shot of 𝗟𝗏 𝗪𝗫 trying to G up the crowd and roaring at them. And if he was roaring at me, I think I'd probably roar back. He's quite a fierce guy. Quite a fierce guy. They played the atmosphere really well, and they managed to launch themselves back into the game, and they're in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we can look at their average position map. We saw this at half time, and it was, not too low, but relatively low. It's a lot higher now.
Yeah, it's much better.
There's a lot more shape about this. Yeah. And look, you can see that kind of forward role of what it is and how those two roles would... I think 𝗟𝗏's introduction there, obviously...
Yeah, I mean, it'd be two different maps there for 𝗟𝗏. He's not on there. And Darwin kind of just basically ended up playing across the front line, left wing, right wing, and up front at times. So it's a little bit muddled. But yeah, Benfica didn't get their midfielders forward. Their two midfielders, you can see that there, they're sat quite deep. It's really all going through the sides, and it's just long runs, counter-attacks from Rafa, from Everton, and from Darwin when he replaced Everton on the left wing. Just long counter-attack, 40 or 50 metres at a time, just carrying the ball forward into space. And Ajax were really struggling because they were committing players forward, right, for their total football attack. Erik ten Hag was really slow to do something about this. Yeah. It has to be said, like for 15 minutes, Rafa ran straight past Mazraoui. It took him ages.
Man of the match,
and Blind, and he took Blind off in the end because it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
He took him off after the goal.
Yeah,
it's too reactive.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's get some final thoughts here. I mean, Sophie, 1, are you happy with that? And 2, what's your prediction from here in the second leg?
I'm happy with it considering the circumstances, considering the fact that we conceded so early. I'll be honest, when we did concede too early, I feared the worst. So the fact that we stayed in the game, managed to take our chance, come out with a draw, I think we have to be happy with that. I still think, like I say, in that second half, I don't think Atletico, other than the Griezmann chance, I don't think they created a lot really. I just think that next time when we do play, we need to be more from the start, we need to be at it. I think we're far too slow to get into games sometimes. We're either one half or the other, as we said. You can't afford to do that against the bigger teams. You're going to get punished. And the fact that we were so slow to get started today, we were punished early on. I still fancy us over the tie. I still fancy us to go through. At home, I'm probably going to say a 2-1 again. I think it'd be tight, but I still think we'll get through.
Okay, all right. And Sam, it's an interesting one here because we're looking at two teams who, because of the way that the momentum worked, Benfica probably the happier to have got back into it, but it's still a 2-2 draw at home against a very strong Ajax side. What do we expect to happen in the second leg in Amsterdam?
Well, Benfica are going to have to pull out all the stops again, aren't they? My advice would be not to go one down quite so early and make it a tall task for yourself. But, I mean, they know what they're going to be up against here. They know that Ajax, at home in Amsterdam, are going to be popping that ball around left and right, creating their passing combinations, creating those overloads down the left, down the right, through the middle, runs from in to out. It's going to be another nightmare, isn't it, to track? It's going to be really difficult. And Benfica are going to have to come and try and disrupt that again. They're going to have to be aggressive, but to a point, tempered aggression. Darwin is going to have to run his socks off again. They're going to have to try and use those physical mismatches. Blind and Mazraoui are not athletes. Ajax's fullbacks are not athletes. If you can slip in behind them, they are not going to catch you. And that's where Benfica have got their joy today. So they can go to Amsterdam, they can play reactive, defensive 4-4-2. Again, probably play 𝗟𝗏 from the start, play Darwin on the left, and just try and get in behind those fullbacks. And just see if you can carry that ball 30, 40 yards again, and see if you can find the opening. They did tonight. There's no reason they can't.
They can't do it again. Yeah.
They just have to be defensively solid at the other end. Vertonghen played out of his skin tonight. Throwing his head around left and right, trying to dive in front of different things, and it was difficult going to limit Ajax to 2. They did it at the post as well.
Yeah.
difficult
did.
going.
But they did it, and they're well in this.
They're in this tie, yeah.
Right, that's all we've got time for here on the LiveScore Watch Long. Firstly, thank you so much to those of you who've watched at home. Secondly, thank you so much to Sophie and Sam on the sofa. It's been a real pleasure watching it with you. There's loads more content like this on the LiveScore app. More from Sam and I discussing the Champions League. More from our man James Lorenzo. More from all over the world of football. Thanks for tuning in. Take it easy. Bye-bye.